All right, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our live coverage of the 51st QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup here on Bowl TV. We're getting ready to get started with the round of 24, where we have the top 24 men and the top 24 women after 24 games of qualifying who've advanced to this point, and they will be bowling another 8 games to determine who makes the round of 8 match play tomorrow. I'm Lucas Wiseman of Bowl TV, and we're joined this morning by Steve Mackey. Steve, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
This should be good. Really
yes,
good.
Always exciting when we get to this point. We're down to the best players in the field, and you can see on the screen that we are right between the split between the men and the women. We were able to make that work out. Had to relocate the live stream this morning, but not too difficult. And we start off this morning with Clara Guerrero of Colombia and Catherine Dureau of Belgium on 27 and 28. And then we have South Africa's Lowe, who's our tournament leader, against, well, not against, but bowling on the same pair as Bartier of France.
And just off to the side there, you're seeing Cameron Doyle, the American, after ringing 10, the first shot of his day. And here's our tournament leader.
Well, great this week. Fran is, I'm starting to sound like an Australian there. Fran bowling great this week, leading the field, a 222.96 average. He's got about a 100-pin lead on the field. So Cameron Doyle in second place at a 219 average. So Fran in great shape. The goal in this round is just to stay in the top 8 and advance to tomorrow. That's pretty much it.
And if you can make up some pins on South Africa today, that would be a good move. He bowled really, really well yesterday. He had a 202 in the third last game. Everything else was nothing less than 220-some, and finished with a 270 odd. So he's in terrific form. Got very good foot speed getting up to the line. He's not holding anything back. He's leaving it all out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Fran had the highest 8-game total yesterday by 160 pins, which is pretty spectacular.
In a field of this quality, that is unbelievable. Watch the speed now on the approach. Very aggressive.
You can see he's playing pretty far right here this morning. I saw some of the players on the fresh yesterday decide to attack it from the outside angle, and then as we move along, they'll start to move left and eventually make a big jump left as the squad goes on. There is a little bit less play today. We only have 2 on a pair versus 3 on a pair for the 8 games, so they might not break down as much, but you also have all of the best bowlers in the field bowling together, breaking the lanes down together, so that will have an impact on how things go as well.
Yeah, we certainly hope that we don't get too many people starting too far left early, because that's going to fiddle around with the scores.
Especially on the men's side. The women, I think, will pretty much stay a little bit to the right to get started. The men sometimes have a tendency to kind of shoot themselves in their own foot and start all over the place and make them look more difficult than they need to be.
Yeah, good point. Well, Guerrero there on lane 28, pretty much right between the 3rd and 4th arrow at the arrows.
Yeah, and Clara, she had a great day yesterday as well and moved into the lead on the women's side with a 215.71 average. Sandra Gongora, Mexico, sits in second, just about 20 pins back. So the women's division is much more tightly bunched than the men's is at the top, and a lot of players who have a real good chance to make that top 8 today.
Guerrero, last game yesterday was what got her in the lead. She opened the first frame, she left a 210 split, went a little light, then had a 4-bagger, a couple of spares, and went off the sheet for 248.
Yeah, that big last game helped to move her into the lead and overtake a host of players who were kind of exchanging the lead yesterday in the women's division.
The South African bowler looks like he might have played rugby. He's a big boy, this one.
Yeah, he generates a lot of power and a lot of great ball reaction as well. Cameron Doyle, I can see him from here. He's you can see him on the far right side of your screen. He has started pretty far right. I noticed he did that yesterday as he gets a lucky break on the strike. He did that yesterday as well, and he shot a big first game out of the ball. He had been struggling a little bit on the fresh, and then I think he made a big move right yesterday, and it paid off. And now we're starting to see some of the other players do the same thing.
Yeah, Certainly was a big break for him there. Tall young man, not much of him. Looks like he could do with a good steak dinner tonight. But
Cameron only 17, and every time I see him, he grows a few more inches.
Yes, he's tall.
Yeah, he's 6 foot. He doesn't even know how tall he is anymore. He says I'm 6'3" or 6'4". I'd say probably closer to the 6'4". But he just keeps growing, and he'll be bowling in college next season for Wichita State.
Boy, that's going to make them a bigger powerhouse than they already are.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's probably the most recruited and most wanted player for college bowling in a long, long time, I would think. And that's where he's going to end up going next year. Wichita
State's been a tremendous supporter of the New Mexico Open and other scratch tournaments around the U.S. And they always send a large group of college players down there. They all stay at the house of Dennis and Janae Helmick, and if you get off the plane late and you get there late, you sleep on the floor. They had 15 people there a couple of years ago sleeping all over their Rio Rancho house. It was quite funny.
And just to let everybody know, Steve runs the New Mexico Open, which is a great tournament, as Francois sends the messenger across for the strike. Every August, you host a lot of the best bowlers out there to bowl for some big prize money in Albuquerque.
That wasn't a messenger. That was a terrorist. That thing flew across the deck.
It was a missile, huh?
That was a missile coming from a drone. Boy, that's about as quick as I've seen a pin go across the deck in a long time. A lot of power, we said, in the South African's hand there. And a big lead, and he wants to extend it.
So our featured pairs for this first game, we've got the top qualifier and the number 24. So we've got the player who's led the field and the ones who just barely made it in. Belgium and France hung on to make it in. Catherine from Belgium, she was right at that cut position all day yesterday. She entered the day in 24th, and she finished the day in 24th. And she didn't bowl great, but she bowled enough, and she bowled a pretty good last game to make it in, and knocked out your Aussie by just a handful of pins.
Yes, it was pretty close. She had a really good game down the high end. The last pair of lanes down on the high end in this 56-lane house, she had a very solid 254. She had a low count on the fill, but it was a tremendous game. Hit the hole every time. We were watching it down there because of the position she and the Australian girl, Narelle Baker, were in. And that turned out to be enough for her to make the cut, and now on Bowl TV.
Yeah, Catherine went 254, 205 the last two games, and I think that 205 was clean in game 24 to help her stay in the cut, and just shows you how important those spares can be, because it was pretty tight. She ended up making it by about 50 pins when it was all said and done. I know Narelle kind of faded a little bit towards the end of the last game.
A lot of 2-0 games here, clean.
It's a good game this week.
Trying to live on a double, and it was, there was probably more turkeys in the food aisle at Sam's Club than there was here yesterday in some of the games. It was pretty tense out there.
Great shot for Duro as she gets 3 in a row. And quite honestly, if you're in 24th place, it's going to be real tough to make the run up to 8th place to make the cut. The difference between 24th and 8th on the women's side is more than 300 pins. That's pretty unrealistic to make up unless you really, really catch fire and start averaging about 250 a game for when you're down in that spot. When you're only averaging about 195 for the tournament, you would need to really light it up. So far, pretty good for Catherine, as Fran strikes again. 5 out of 6 to start, showing no signs of going anywhere this morning.
Except up.
Yeah, he would love to build on that lead. Obviously, there are a lot of games left. We have 8 games this morning, and then the top 8 will advance to bowl 7 games of round-robin match play tomorrow morning with 30 bonus pins for the win. And then the top 3 advance to the show. The number 2 versus number 3 in our first match, and the winner will bowl the top seed. And the finals are all best of 3 matches, so a little bit different than a traditional PBA or professional tournament.
Could be a long show if they all go the distance.
They will have the men's and the women's semifinals happening at the same time. to try to save a little bit of time, because it does go a long time if you've got 4 matches back-to-back that are best of 3. Mike from France struggling a bit this morning. Nothing too exciting for him, as he needs a big day to make it. But Catherine's really lighting it up here.
Well, she's got nothing to lose.
Exactly right.
Absolutely 330-odd sticks behind. So she should be loose for quite a while. If she does make up some of that wood and move up the ladder, I think things will get a little tight for her then. But right now she's firing on all cylinders. 2 9 counts, both good shots, and then a 4-bagger.
Yeah, you come in the number 24 position in a situation like this. You're just feeling kind of fortunate to even be here and playing on house money, as they would say here at the casino.
Yes.
Nothing to lose, just out here to have a good time. She looks very relaxed and loose and smiling and having a good time.
Mexico in a little bit of trouble, just left a partial bucket over there. She's only 99 on the 6th, though. She's started poorly. Guerrero coming off an open now, top of the 7th frame for her.
Yeah, the fresh has been a little tricky, especially on the women's side. And we've seen some of the men move pretty far right on the fresh. I'm surprised we haven't seen some of the women try to go with something pretty aggressive. Maybe they've tried and it just isn't there for them. Maybe it's the players with the high rev rates that are able to get it back on the men's side from the corner. Let's see what Fran does here. Fran kind of wheeling it out there.
Oh, look at that.
he is shredding racks like heads of lettuce right now.
Yes, and giving it a little air, getting it out there, and with huge speed and tremendous authority, I can tell you.
And it's fun to watch, isn't it? Somebody who's that good at their craft. It's fun to watch them throw a lot of strikes. Catherine got another one as well.
And smiling after.
Big smile.
Big smile, yeah.
Her cheeks are going to hurt. She's smiling so much.
Yeah, looks like she told a funny joke and can't stop laughing, that one. 5-bagger for her, so she's 129 on the 5th, so she's probably going to streak the field here by maybe 35 pins or something.
Yeah.
She'll pick up in one game. She does that for 8 games. She's
right there,
She's right there, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. It's hard to maintain that pace, especially when the scoring pace has been a little bit lower. But we'll see.
Well, from our vantage point here, we can see about 6 lanes of women. Plahowski, 145 in the 7th. She's off the screen. She's just a couple of lanes down. She had a strike and just carried a 7-10, so they gave her a double. She's probably going to shoot 2-10 or so. But Guerrero, the tournament leader, in a little bit of trouble. Having said that, Mexico's 2nd, and she's in more trouble.
Yeah, Sandra's not bowling so well, and I can see a lot of the women's scores. I don't see too many of the women stringing a lot of strikes to start this game, other than Catherine on our featured pairs.
Well, here's our big guy from South Africa.
6 out of 7 strikes so far today. It looks like he's playing a little bit farther right on the right lane than he is on the left lane.
And with tremendous speed.
Yeah.
It says that his ball went down at 18.93 miles an hour. It looked faster than that.
Yeah, it did. Catherine with another strike. So she's got 6 in a row to start today. Today's going to go pretty fast. Only 2 on a pair, 8 games, and that's it. We're done for the day. It's probably the shortest live streaming day I've ever had in my life, and I've done a lot of live streaming. But nobody's complaining, I don't think.
Don't tell your boss that.
I know.
He'll find something for you to do.
It makes up for all of the 15 and 16-hour days that we live stream.
Yes. Yeah, you've had some long ones, that's for sure.
Well, tomorrow we've got a full day starting at 9 a.m. with the round of 8 match play, and then the finals are tomorrow afternoon here live on Bull TV.
Good spare shooter too, obviously, when you out-pin the field by 160 sticks in an 8-game set and everyone's bowling on the same pattern. You're not going to miss too many spares either.
I have a feeling he didn't shoot too many spares yesterday.
Probably not,
struck
yes,
a lot,
right, yeah.
But he did make a lot as well. Here's Catherine. Can she get another one? Needs it to hook. Yeah, that one was a little bit right and didn't have a chance. Leaves the bucket.
But good game coming up for her. She's on a 240 some odd pace. She can make the spare, and that will definitely jump her up the standings. Let's have a look at the standings for a second in the women.
Sure.
Down the bottom there, 24th. She's...
there was a little bit of a gap between 23rd and 24th.
Yes, there was.
So about,
and then a
pins.
bit of a gap between her and the Australian. So there was some pins to be had there yesterday, and the ones underneath, the girl from Belgium just couldn't make it up. Mexico in more trouble than Superman over there.
Catherine's
124 in the 8th.
Catherine's about 120 pins out of 16th place coming out of this game. So she'll move up a little bit, I think, as the day goes on if she keeps bowling like this.
Yeah. Well, she made that bucket spare. Here we go now with South Africa again. Ooh, ripped it out there and just twirled it into the pocket. Boy, that's...
high ball speed, high rev rate, and just annihilates the pins.
And he's got the right ball in his hand, that's for sure. What is that? Can you see from here?
It's hard to tell. It's very dark in the settee area in this bowling center, so it's kind of hard to tell. And there's so many bowling balls these days that it's hard to keep up with what people are throwing.
I remember we were at a meeting with AMF and the Richmond offices over there in the early 90s, and we were talking about the number of bowling balls that the ABC had approved that year, and it was 53, and we were just shocked. Well, now in Bowler's Journal magazine, every month there's about 53.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
You know, I don't know how many balls they're going to release this year, but everyone's on the bandwagon there, that's for sure. And I can tell you this, I bowled with a Black Beauty for about 6 years. You wouldn't get a ball that would last 6 years these days.
Yeah, no chance. Yeah, my dad had a Black Beauty as well.
I had a Black Beauty once. I bowled the first 300 by an Australian overseas. I bowled one on lane 7 and 8 in an 8-lane house in New Caledonia. It's an island in the Pacific Ocean. And I went home, went down to Melbourne. I won the Melbourne Cup that year, and then plugged the ball. I mean, what did I think? I was going to shoot a 301 and win back-to-back tournaments or something. People do crazy things, and I'm certainly no exception to that rule.
Let's see how Fran finishes up here as he gets another strike.
Yeah.
Going to be at 258 if he can throw a couple of more strikes. And Catherine looking for her double in the 10th. Can get to 255, and she will get in the 250s. What a great start for Catherine Durant.
Look along the lanes here. You've got the guy from Malaysia did a 245, and after that, there's nothing going down the lanes there.
Cameron Doyle had a 200. Mike with another strike. He can get to 217 this game. And Clara's had a pretty good finish to try to save as much as she can out of this game. Looking at 211 with a strike. And Sandy Gongora only 149 first game in second place. So she will drop.
Yes. Guerrero moved a couple of boards to the left on the approach to get herself out of trouble there. She looked like she was going to shoot 190 odd and ended up with 211. So it was a good effort for her. 252 for Belgium. That's going to certainly move her up a place or two.
Yeah, it may not move her up as much as she might like, but it will definitely pay off in terms of narrowing the gap between her and the players above her.
This guy is huge.
I wish we could watch him bowl all day, huh? It's fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep the viewers informed on his progress. He's certainly extended his lead there. Any comments from anyone that might be interesting?
Someone asked, what do I need to do to play at tournaments like this? Well, this is an event where you need to qualify. It all depends on the qualifying process in your country. In the United States, I can tell you that you need to bowl the Team USA trials in January, which is going to be at the Gold Coast here in Las Vegas. And the men's winner and the women's winner from that tournament get to come here and bowl the World Cup. So just inquire in your home country as to what the process is if you want to get involved.
And here may not be, probably will not be America for another few years. The last time it was in America was actually in this house in 1999. So the rumor going around, and they usually announce it at the victory banquet, is that next year's tournament's going to be somewhere in Asia. And so if you make Team USA, you probably get a trip overseas out of it.
Yeah, in the last few years, they haven't announced the location until about 4 months after the World Cup ends. So this year it'll be a nice treat to be able to know where it's going to be, and maybe that'll encourage more people to get involved in their local qualifiers to try to make it to this tournament.
Well, we've got Switzerland and England coming up. The English bowler had a decent day yesterday, I believe. Canada and Israel on lanes 25 and 26 in the women.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see just a little bit of them bowling throughout the day or throughout the game on the left side of your screen. That was a pretty fast game, wasn't it? About an 18-minute game there. They're going to be cruising along here this morning.
And the women ready to rumble. They're not fiddling around at all.
Yeah, I guess they're not waiting for the whistle today. Just going when their names pop up. As we've got Tanya Kuva of Switzerland and Kira Ray of England on our women's featured pair here for game number 2. So it looks like Kira shot 206 first game. So not a bad start to the day for her as she leaves that 7-pin.
Yeah, that was a tough break. Boy, she's stocky and solid bowler. Boy, she really got some twist and turn on that. Well, I wandered along the lanes during the men's and women's practice. This is a heck of a 48 bowler field.
Yes, it is. A very talented group, and we always get to this point. The energy level kind of ramps up. The intensity ramps up a little bit. For the men here in game number 2, we're going to have Ryan Lalisang of Indonesia and Woo Soo Hong of Hong Kong. And both these guys throw it really good. And Woo Soo Hong is up there near the top of the men's standings. He's, I believe, in the top 5 after yesterday. Yeah, sitting in 3rd place coming into today.
He bowled in Australia a few years ago when Dana and I went down for the Australian Masters and the National Championships there, and he bowled really well. He is a quality bowler, very experienced now. And they've got some pretty good coaching help. Mike Seymour from Canberra, Australia, and Del Ballard from the DFW area, both on their coaching squad.
Yeah, and then Bill Hoffman, former Team USA member, is the head coach of the Hong Kong program. He's currently working with the women's team to get them ready for the World Championships next month. So he's not here.
Abu Dhabi.
Yes, and I'll be there. I'm sure you'll be watching some of the live streaming, right?
Yeah, I won't be doing any commentary from Abu Dhabi, but you'll have a good time there. Beautiful city.
It is, yeah. We were there last year, and it's a really nice place. Enjoyed it a lot. It was my first time in that part of the world, and it was really enjoyable. All right, so here's the first shot for Woo Soo. Look good. Snap that 10-pin right out of there.
And that hasn't been an easy task the last few days. Lots of ringing 10s and weak 10s. It seems like the gutters here are quite deep on occasion.
Hazel McCleary checking in the chat. She says, "Hi, Steve. Nice to hear your comments."
All right, Hazel.
It's nice to hear from you again, Hazel.
This would be one of the few World Cups she hasn't been at.
Yeah, Hazel stopped traveling and officially, I guess, retired a couple of years ago, and we certainly miss her. She was always a pleasure to have out here at the events, and really got to know Hazel a lot over the years.
Yeah. Big help to Canadian bowling,
that's
Hazel
right.
McCleary, that's for sure.
Helped to get the Canadian bowlers a lot of press.
Indonesia's been bowling a long time. I'm surprised they haven't broken through for more medals and more titles internationally. They've been bowling since the early 60s in Jakarta and other places around the country, and there's some quality bowlers that have come through there over the years, but they've never been able to break through.
Yeah, they've got some good bowlers out of Indonesia. Ryan Lalisang, of course, is a great bowler, and then Tanya Ramanpur has had some success here in the United States. She bowled at Wichita State as well, so got some talented bowlers in Indonesia. They're unfortunately in Jakarta, their big bowling center keeps flooding. They keep having a big problem with their bowling center. It keeps getting flooded, rebuilt, flooded, rebuilt. It's just in a bad location, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you know, right there on the equator, every morning and afternoon at 9 and 5, you can just about set your watch that it's going to rain torrentially for some period of time, and they do get flooded out there.
Double to start from Ryan. Let's see if we have updated standings yet for the women. Not quite yet. Steve, I think you said you were heading home today, right? When's your flight?
Yes, just after lunch.
Oh, okay. So you'll be here for most of this round this morning, yeah? Good news for me, good news for the viewers as well.
I've been commentating since 1973.
It's a little, live streaming's a little different than TV. It's more just kind of free form, you know, relaxing,
right,
having a conversation. Of course, it's kind of like calling a golf tournament, I guess, because it's just so long and extended hours, and you just have to pace yourself.
I remember the first coverage that Mort Luby did was up in Kuala Lumpur. I was the media manager, and they needed English commentary alongside the Malaysian live TV broadcast of it, and I asked Mort in the press room. He said, "Oh, I've never done it." I said, "You're a writer, it'd be easy." And of course he was one of the people that talked here yesterday, and we had the helicopter bowlers, and they were able to do it in super slow motion of what those balls looked like, and it was well named. None of them here this year. I don't know how they would have done on this shot, but they were a real force to be reckoned with there in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, they would have been pretty competitive, at least on, I think about the women's and the men's side, especially on the women's side. Anytime the scoring pace is a little bit lower, the spinner bowlers have a good chance to be in the mix and win. And, you know, if you get a really elite helicopter spinner bowler, can average about 215, 220. And that would be leading this week. Yeah,
they all had Columbia white dots, and they would change balls for a single pin spare to a lighter weight ball, and it was quite funny to watch. But they were, I wouldn't have liked to bowl them for lunch money, that's for sure.
Oh, that's
they were hard to beat. They'd get runaway Brooklyns that looked like their pocket hit.
Well, we have the men's results updated. And Francois Lowe, as you would expect, not only in the lead, extends the lead. He now leads by about 130 pins or so. And Ru Su Hong has moved up to second place. So Francois leads at 56.09, and Wusu is at 54.76. And then Cameron Doyle of the United States is third at 54.56. Alexei Parshukov of Russia and Jaris Go of Singapore are fourth and fifth. Sixth, Paul Stott Jr. of Ireland. Seventh is Bjorn Rodshagen of Norway. Eighth is Tomoyuki Sasaki of Japan. And then the first player out of the cut right now would be Ildemaro Ruiz Jr. of Venezuela at a 211.68 average on the men's side. He's out of the number by about 20 pins.
Yeah, 20 sticks. 259 the high game for the men in that first round. Across the house, 24 bowlers. Our bowler from Hong Kong here and the tournament leader from South Africa both shot 258 the first game. That's a pretty good jump out of the box on the fresh. I like the way the girl from England throws the ball. She's looking like she's got a big future ahead of her.
I think she's bowled this tournament before. We are in game 2 of 8 here in the round of 24 at the World Cup. Live at Sam's Town in Las Vegas. Lucas Wiseman, Steve Mackey with you. Working our way towards cutting the field from 24 to 8 in each division this morning.
Yeah, pretty vicious cuts. 88 countries started the tournament, and to cut from 86 men to 24 might seem a bit severe, but there's a lot of bowling to be done. They've got 24 games to get it done, and that kind of makes it fair. 24 games is a big cut these days. Quite often in singles events it might be a 8, 10, 12 game set or something or other around the world. 16 games usually in Australia before they make the first cut. Here it's 24, so they've had 3 days to think about it. We definitely have the best 24 in this field in the men. Terrific games. Solid.
Ryan Lally off to a good start in this game. Triple spare strike to begin game 2. She's got a pretty high rev rate, doesn't she?
Yes.
Kira Ray.
Lots of pin action on these. I would think these pins, do we know what weight they are yet? I was thinking yesterday they might be 3/8, 3/9s. These QubicaAMF pins continue to be made in Lowville, New York, where they've been made forever. Probably the best pins in the bowling industry. Of course, pins would have to be pretty durable these days, the way the folks are. Even house league bowlers are ripping racks these days with the quality of bowling balls out there.
Pins get beat up pretty good. Still waiting for that update on the women's standings. I think it's updated on the in-house board, so I think I'll just read it from there when it comes through again.
It's not in order, I don't think.
No?
Yeah, it is in order.
Catherine Dureau moved up to 21st, so she moved up from 24th to 21st. It's more than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
And so let's see, it's about to cycle through. Claire Guerrero is still in the lead. 53.88. Maria Bulanova of Russia moves up to second place, just 4 pins back, and then Shannon Plahowski is in third. Sandra Grigor drops to 4th. Siti Safaya is 5th. Isabel Holton is 6th. Geraldine Ung 7th, and Almi Guetta moves up to 8th. Got to look out for Almi Guetta here today. She may make her move. 2-time champion in this event.
And the first day leader.
Correct. Yeah, she had a bad day 2. A little bit better yesterday, though.
Oh, boy. That looked like the South African.
Ripping racks.
Yeah. A midget version of the male South African leader. Got as many revs as him, it looks like.
Yeah, she's got the high ball speed, which is kind of unusual for the women's game, and the high rev rate. Right now, she's got it going on. She can max at 249 this game with a couple of frames to go.
Singapore and Kazakhstan just off to the right of our TV pairs.
Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, KSA kind of throws you for a loop.
Oh.
I don't expect that to be Saudi Arabia.
I didn't think he looked like a Kazakhstan. Apologies to the Saudi Arabia bowler. Another big guy, and threw that one real well. But he's only 74 in the 5th, so he's got a bit of work to do. England struck again.
Yeah, she's cruising right now.
Yes. It says her ball speed's 15.3. I don't believe it. It's
Seems
faster.
a bit higher, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hong Kong opened with a double, but he's not going to shoot 250 here, but he can still make a 240. And he's on the way, a double, getting back over the card for this game. 95 in the 5th and a double. Indonesia having a good game. Turkey, spare Turkey. Getting lots of feedback there. Lucas, they're all over your case here. They must be talking to you. People on the
everything looks to be working
comment
well.
page.
Got a lot of it's like some Russian and French fans out there watching. If you want to let us know in the chat where you're watching from around the world, it's always interesting to hear what countries we have watching our live streaming. We're closing in on 1,000 viewers, which is a pretty good number. We've had great live stream numbers this week. And we appreciate you joining us here on Bowl TV. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the round of 8 and the finals as well. Well, should be an exciting 10th frame here for Kira Ray of England as she's getting kind of fired up after throwing 3 strikes in a row and 5 of the last 6.
And she's a feisty player, that's for sure. Deep inside on the approach. Wheeled it out there, and that was a great shot.
Got the quick footwork to generate the ball speed, and it works out well for her.
Yeah. She's in pretty good shape. She's fit for bowling.
Yes. Wusu with another strike. It's good news for him. He needed to recover a little bit after that open frame in the 3rd, and he has done so nicely. Tanya Kuva only going to be in the 160s this game, 163.
Indonesia now hoping to shoot 278. That would help his cause today, that's for sure. Right there.
Yeah, great shot. Let's see where he's at in the standings.
8 out of 9.
Ryan is currently in 14th place at 51.90 and about 122 pins out of the cut. So this would be a huge game for him.
Yeah, that's going to jump him. Our English lass going to shoot 230 something. Good game for her. That'll in the women's tournament. That's probably picking up 20 or 30 sticks.
Yeah, I
on
would
the field.
agree.
Not much around us. 152 from Israel. That didn't help her at all. Canadian bowler is going to shoot 195.
Looks like Sandy Gongora of Mexico has got 4 strikes in a row and can shoot 230 this game.
Guerrero is going to be in the 190s, a few lanes further down. Hong Kong now trying to recover from the 3rd, 4th and 5th frames. No strikes there, but he's had strikes in all the other frames.
I see down a few lanes away from us a front 7 for Rafiq Ismail of Malaysia. Something to keep an eye on. Can't see it from our live stream pairs, but I can see the scoreboard. He's got 7 strikes in a row. Of course, you could follow it on the live scoring if you want. Well, Wu Su-hong and Ryan Lalisang have really turned it up a notch this game, haven't they? Especially in the last few frames.
And he's going to make big inroads on the cut number here, Indonesia. That's been a really good game. 1 errant shot in the 3rd frame. Everything else has never looked like leaving a pin.
Yeah, this is going to put him really right in the mix to be near the number for the top 8 after this game. You have to think. The Malaysian is up right now.
20 to 10 in the morning here in Las Vegas.
And he got 8, Rafiq did. So his run at perfection is over.
Oh, that was a good shot. Pin tried to get out of the gutter, but just didn't have enough oomph in it to knock it down. Be a good recovery for him though, 220 odd. in second place prior to this game.
And today's a little bit of a different feel for the players because it's a different pace of play. It's much faster pace of play than with 3 on a pair. Something to get used to for them. The games are going at about 20 minutes a clip. As Ryan Lally-Singh strikes again to get into the 270s.
And very happy with himself. And I tell you what I'm happy about, Lucas, your pronunciation of all these names. That's impressive.
Yeah, I do my best, and I always tell the players, if you hear that I'm saying your name wrong, please tell me so I can say it correctly.
Well, you've done really well. Hong Kong, a solid attacking performance on the 10-pin there.
I think he'll be happy with 224 after kind of a slow start, the first 5 frames.
Yeah, he threw that spare ball with authority, 20.5 miles an hour.
At 220's picking up about, 8 pins or so on his average, 5 pins on his average for the tournament. So anytime you're ahead of that average at this point in the tournament, that's a good game. And a great performance here in game 2 for Ryan Lally-Singh as he shoots 278.
Yeah, that was a solid game. That was really good. So that's definitely going to get him up in the standings and give him a chance to make the top 8. You don't want to be 8th and out of business going into tomorrow's play because you only get 30 bonus pins for a win. You're going to have a top quality field there, and it's not easy to win games. I would think a good record tomorrow would be 5 and 3, or even 4.5, 3.5 in the match play.
All right, so we do have the updated standings for the women already after 26 games. Shannon Pluhowski is your new leader as she moves up into the top spot with 56.32, and now she's in the lead by 45 pins over Maria Bolanova of Russia, who's in second place. Defending champion Clara Guerrero of Colombia drops down to third, and Clara is 53 off the lead. Sandra Gongora, fourth place at 55.43. She's about 90 pins off the lead. Isabel Hulten of Sweden, she's at 54.48. So that's actually a pretty big gap between fourth and fifth, about 100 pins between fourth and fifth. And then Siti Safaya of Malaysia is sixth. Geraldine Ung of Singapore is seventh, and Sanna Passanen of Finland is eighth. First player out now is Almi Guerra of the Dominican Republic, and she is outside of the cut number by 11 pins with 6 games to go.
And then Japan 3 pins behind that, and then a bit of a gap, 42 sticks down to England, and of course she just had a 235, spared that washout in the 10th, so that 235, she'll need a couple more of those back-to-back to sneak into the top 8.
But yeah, that 230 was very helpful for Kira as she moves up a little bit to 12th or to 11th place.
Good crowd of Canadians here. They've been supporting the lady from Canada very strongly, and she doesn't do much with the ball. She very accurate. She's been around a while, and I expect that she'll continue to move along.
And on our featured pair for the women this game, we've got Ifik Tal of Israel, and we've got Misaki Mukatani of Japan. And Mukatani in 10th place currently, and Tal is in 24th, so she's at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, her last game 152 didn't help her.
Yeah, she's 179, 152, so she's not off to too hot of a start here this morning. The men are still finishing up game number 2. The men always bowl a little bit slower than the women do.
I remember match play in Australia when we were running tournaments down there, and I'd be timing them. We'd have the men's and women's match play alongside one another. The women would bowl games in 12 or 13 minutes, match play heads up. Jeez. And the men would be taking 16 or 17. It was always a big topic of conversation around the snack bar. How slow the men were usually.
I can tell you, Steve, that in individual tournaments that holds true. The women are much faster. In college tournaments, the women are much slower. because they'd spend more time cheering and stuff, and so they're much slower than the men.
High-fiving after an open frame. I don't get it. Been around a while, but that boggles my mind that they give high fives after they get a 6-1.
I guess just trying to encourage for the next frame, perhaps. Looks like we'll have Singapore and Ireland on our featured pair for the men coming up next game.
Ireland had a good day yesterday. And I saw him at breakfast this morning at the buffet here at Samstown. And he was, in his mind, he was thinking good thoughts. He was definitely trying to psych himself up for a big day.
Bukotani with the front three this game. Let me pull my cord here out of your way. Got a lot of viewers this morning. It must be because we've got Steve Mackey in the booth with me.
I doubt it. It's probably your pronunciation of these country names and bowlers' names.
Got a lot of folks tuning in, so we appreciate you joining us today and hope you'll join us tomorrow as well. Today's a short day for us. We only have this round of 8 games, and then we're done for the day. And I think that the players will enjoy having a little bit of a break after what has been a long tournament already. This is game number 27 of the tournament for these players.
Yes, this tournament really is a good test.
And I guess the Irish bowler was on the wrong lane, so he's not actually on this pair. So we have Mick Little of Australia. So we get to watch your young man from your home country.
He's got a bit of work to do. Before he left on this trip, he had a pretty full beard and he cut it off. And I think we can blame that for his...
Well, he's looking very dapper. So we do have the updated standings after 26 games for the men. Fran Lowe of South Africa is your leader still at 57-74, leading by 75 pins on Woo Soo Hong of Hong Kong. So actually, I think that Fran's lead got a little bit smaller there. Let's see what he bowled last game. He only bowled 165, so we saw him look invincible the first game, and then he goes down and shoots 165 his second game.
Well, bowling's a humbling sport. I think God invented it to humble the proud. It's you can be king of the world one day and living in a grass hut the next.
So Fran leading by 75 over Woo Soo Hong of Hong Kong. Paul Stott Jr. of Ireland is now in the top 3 in 3rd place. And Cameron Doyle of the United States has dropped to 4th. Cameron is now 9 pins outside of the top 3. Muhammad Jaris Go of Singapore, he is on our featured pair this game. He's at 5th place. Tomoyuki Sasaki of Japan is 6th. Alexei Parshikov of Russia, he continues to drop a little bit. He's 7th place at 55.71. Bjorn Rudshagen of Norway is in 8th. And then 9th place is still Ildemaro Ruiz of Venezuela. He is outside of the cut for today by about 36 pins with just 6 games to go to add to the standings.
Well, the bowler from Ireland just bowled on lane 31. He left the 2-4-10. That lane looks like it's got a bit of a hang spot out there. Doyle had a bit of trouble on that lane in the first game, and we're already in the 3rd game now. Let's have a look and see how the Indonesian bowler who just threw a big game.
You'll see him on the far right side of your screen there on lane 31. Washout.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
There's definitely some trouble on that lane. It always is a good idea for you to have a look at the people alongside, even though you're not interested particularly in them or how they bowl, as to see what their ball does.
Yeah.
And those first couple of shots on that odd lane on lane 31 went out to lunch.
You'll see a lot of coaches will try to do that, to go down and try to scout at least a frame or two to see what the next pair is doing for their player. We've had pretty high scores on 29 and 30 so far today. We'll see if that continues. Had a tweet come in from Tim Berkey, watching from Salem, Oregon. Amazing talent and unique throwing styles this week. Great to see 88 countries represented. I think we would both agree that we've got a very broad range of styles in this tournament for sure.
And a broad range of countries too. It'll be interesting to see which countries have a man and woman still alive in the event, and which countries only have one or the other or neither. be able to see that at the end of the standings today. The Japanese bowler has a good start here. Turkey, spare Turkey. Throws it pretty good. And just off camera on lane 26, we've got the English bowler who's had a double, spare double. There goes her ball again. Went through the nose.
Looks like Michael's playing a little bit deeper than some of the other players have been.
Yes.
He gets the strike there. He's sitting in 16th place, so he's not had a great day today. He's only got a 182 high game for the day, it looks like. 182, 192 for Little after shooting 162 the last game last night. So he's kind of in a bad stretch right now.
Yes. Michael Little shooting too little to make up some ground.
He's given away a lot of pins the last few games on the field. Keeps dropping. He's going to need to pull a big last 6 games here to make it into the top 8. Jarvis Go, a 20-year-old student from Singapore. A youngster with a strike.
And lots of get up and go in him.
Singapore's got great bowling program, great youth programs there, developing a lot of really young, great talent. And they are always competitive in international competitions, it seems like.
Bowling started up there in the early 60s, about 1962-63. Jackie's Bowl, Orchard Road, and Jackie's Bowl, Katong, the first couple of houses there. And of course now they've got some really big, ultra-modern centres in Singapore. And they've had a solid bowling program and coaching for years. The early coaches there were Australians that were sent over by AMF to help the development of the game there with Herbie Lim centres, and they've really kicked on in the last number of years. The women do really well. They did well on the Women's Pro Tour.
Yes, they do. And Singapore, the bowling team gets a lot of funding from their government. I mean, Singapore is basically a city country. It's very small, just on the southern tip of the Malaysian peninsula. They were south of Malaysia. And when you got such a small amount of land, there's only so many sports you can do. And so they invest in the sports that like bowling, and it's really paid off for them. And every time Singapore sends a group of bowlers to a women's tournament in the United States, it seems like they're guaranteed to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 in the finals, it seems like. And even Jazreel Tan won one of the PWBA tournaments this year in Lubbock.
I bet she didn't know where Lubbock was till she
well, she did go to Wichita State, so she may have known. But yeah, her teammates may not have had any idea where they were going.
I supervised a bowling centre in Lubbock for a while, and that's flat as a pancake out there. And when it's windy, the dust will get into every crack and crevice in the building.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on out in Lubbock.
Japan, bad shot there, pulled it at the release. Had a good game going before that. Michael 6 count. Indonesia's carrying on after an open frame with a Turkey, and Ireland open frame left the 2-4-10 and then came back with a strike and a 9 spare on that lane, so it looked like he made an adjustment on the hang spot.
Alexander asking in the chat, no Korean bowlers this time. Yeah, there are no bowlers from Korea here this week. It seems like this is not a priority event for the Korean Bowling Federation. They tend to focus more on the World Championships and the Asian Games, Asian Championships, than this one. As Mr. Little gets 0 on the spare.
Yeah.
Misses that 3, 6, 9, 10. Tough spare, but even tougher if you don't hit any of them. Loses a lot of count on the
That's
strike.
almost a Yogi Berra-ism. We can quote you on that.
He can. It'll be true every single time.
He went high too.
Like
some breakdown perhaps?
Yeah, it looked like he came over the top of it a little bit, I think.
Israel trying to make up for the low game before and get out of the bottom spot here. 159 on the 7th strike and the 8th. She can go off the sheet for a real good game. Little carrying the bucket forward.
Yeah, a bit of trivia for you. Michael Little's wife won this tournament in 1999. Amanda Bradley, right here in Samstown.
Yeah, she was pretty much unbeatable that year. She looked good the whole tournament and dominated the TV show. Represented Australia on numerous occasions in World and Asian Zone FIQ events.
Now she sounds like she's. I talked to her the other day. Sounds like she's got her hands full with. She's got the little one, a couple more at home, and staying busy, raising a family.
Yeah, she is. But she's going to come out of retirement for our 10-pin Memories reunion tournament in Sydney next year. So she promised me that, and I expect to see her shoe up. She.
Oh, backdoor strike for Michael Little.
That's a huge break for him. He had a bucket and a rail and struck both times. It's a strange game.
He needs to take advantage of it. He's got to throw a lot of strikes here the rest of this day to have a chance to make the top 8.
Yeah, and there won't be too many more like that, I would imagine.
Go with a great shot. He had a little quick conversation with Jim Callahan a couple of minutes ago, or a couple seconds ago, to see. He was trying to figure out what he needs to do here. Israel, 9th frame, having a good game so far. It looks like a good shot, but leaves the 10.
Well, England started with a couple of strikes over there, 4 out of the first 5, and then had a 7 spare, split, 9 spare, 7 spare. So she's lost away just a little, the girl from England, and it's too bad.
Someone says in the chat, I wonder why Australia didn't send Sam Cooley. I don't think that, I'm not sure how the process is in Australia for the World Cup, but I'm guessing you have to win a tournament to get here, right?
Yes, I believe Michael won the Australian Open and Sam was in the field and didn't win that day. Sam did win a tournament last weekend in Sydney, averaged 252 in the finals, and beat a woman who also averaged 250. Wow. So I would imagine it was the ultra easy house shot they had down there at Wetherill Park, part of the New South Wales tournament circuit.
But generally, I would say a majority of the bowlers in the field have won some sort of a tournament in their home country to make it to this tournament. It's not a hard and fast rule. You don't have to have a qualifying event. The United States, for a while, was selecting the players who would come and bowl this event, but we don't even do that anymore. It's now the winner of the Team USA trials in January. Kind of a bad finish here for Mukutani of Japan. Open, open, open. 3 splits in a row. Got 3 red spots right there on the scoreboard. And it went from being a potential great game to being a very mediocre game in a hurry.
Well, this tournament and the pressure it produces can do that to you.
Ryan Lollysang off to the right there leaves a 7-pin on a great shot on a 5-bagger. He's chucking the rock pretty good today and trying to make it into the top 8. Here's Little. That looks in. Yeah, never had a chance to get to the pocket. He just looks a little out of sorts on that left lane.
Back on track, the Japanese bowler, but those 3 opens really painful. Hard to watch. Hard to watch a scorecard with those red circles around them.
Yeah, you don't want those to start adding up, especially consecutively. Cause big problems for your score. So you can only max at 194 now. Israel looking at 217 this game with another strike on the film. So we are winding down game 3 of 8 here in the round of 24 this morning in Samstown in Las Vegas. Lucas Wiseman of Bold TV along with Steve Mackey, who is former Aussie bowler, now living in the United States. Bowled the World Cup back in 67 and 71, is that right?
Yeah, 67, right? Paris, and 71. And I remember the racks, lane 70 in 1971, goodness. They interviewed me on a radio program. They were doing live radio broadcast in those days. That's how long ago that was. Now you're on worldwide internet coverage, but in those days it was radio, and boy, did I have something to say about the rack on the radio pair. Goodness. Funny how you remember things like that from, decades ago.
There's always interesting stories from the World Cup. I remember going to the World Cup in Caracas, Venezuela a number of years ago, and it was a brand new bowling center. When we got there, they were still installing the lanes the day before practice started. They're still finishing putting in the panels and dowels and stuff and hammering things in. And I was like, they're not going to be ready. And they worked all night. They got it done.
Yeah, I think there was a rainstorm the next day, or one of the days of the tournament down there. I remember Mort Luby wrote a story about it, and I think part of the roof caved in. They had to move the tournament. It was either there or the tournament in Le Mans, France, when that happened.
Yeah, there's always little stories that come out of most World Cups. A number of years ago in Toulon, France, we had part of the roof collapsed in the middle of the tournament, and they had to evacuate the portion of the bowling center and bring in some equipment to secure the roof. We all had the day off, and the bar was open courtesy of QubicaAMF, and that was a great day. Just winding down here, 10th frame coming up here, game 3 for our men. Our women, we're going to have Finland and Norway on 27 and 28 momentarily. Little can still strike out for 226 this game.
Yeah, that wouldn't go astray.
He's not been so sharp on this left lane.
He's gone high a couple of times and
Did it again.
make that 3 times.
Yeah.
Sometime back in the old days, and I'm talking way back in the old days, you'd move a little left and then you'd angle your feet right, or you'd angle your feet left or something or other. These days they tend to think more of what ball can I get here that's going to hang out there for a little while longer until it jumps. And different game. Really, probably a better game now, I would imagine. Accuracy was more king in the early days of this tournament. And age was not a factor. I remember the guy that won it in Kuala Lumpur in 1987, he was 53 years old, Remo Fornasari.
Oh my, chops the spare. 194, and you just get the feeling that it's not going to be his day to make the top 8.
Yes, he needed a big start today and hasn't had it. He's lost about 50 pins to the card today. Michael Little. And the young man from Singapore, how old is he? 20?
20, yep.
He rides the shots, every shot, like he's a teenager. Obviously has a passion for the sport.
Still get to 230 here, 238. That's got a hook.
A couple of times he went wide there and left the 2 pin, but it'll be a solid game. 227 will pick up a few sticks on the field. And Indonesia another 230 after that 278 earlier on. So he's going to consolidate his position, pick up a few sticks as well. Ireland only 192, opened the first frame and then flagged a 6 pin of all pins in the 8th frame. That didn't help him.
We've got the updated standings on the women's side, and we've got a new leader. I told you, going back and forth on the women's side. Defending champion Clara Guerrero is now in the lead by 12 pins over Shannon Plowski of the United States. Maria Bulanova of Russia is 3rd. Sandra Gongor of Mexico now 4th. Isabel Hulton of Sweden 5th. Siti Safaya of Malaysia is 6th. Sana Pasanen of Finland, who's on our featured pair this game, is 7th. And Geraldine Ung of Singapore rounds out the top 8. Almi Guerra of the Dominican Republic is still in 9th place, and she is 45 pins back of the cut.
And the Japanese girl in 10th, had she not opened those 3 frames, she could have squeezed away past the Singaporean. So.
And we also have Heidi Thorstensen of Norway on 27 and 28 this game. She's down in 16th place.
Averaging 199 for the tournament, so she needs a big game here. And
yeah, she's 200 pins out of the cut right now.
And boy, she's got that right leg taped up like a boxer's fists. She's got tape all over that leg, so she must have hurt something there, or that's just protective.
Yeah, she's been wearing that tape all week.
Well, let's have a look at Finland here. Had a good start, 2 in a row. She's kind of 5 or 6 boards further left than Guerrero in the first game, so we're in.
She's 21 years old, a student, and 242 last game after starting with 190, 190 today. So the 240 moved her up.
And looks like she's on track for another one of those.
Yeah, front 3.
The age of World Cup bowl, I don't know what the average age is this year, but it's definitely getting younger each time.
Yeah, it seems like the field is a little bit younger this year than it has been in recent years.
Well, the way the lanes are generally oiled, house conditions, and the way the balls are, you'd better have some strength and power in your legs and your arms, and the younger folks seem to have that.
For looking for the front 4 for Sana Pasanen, she leaves a 10-pin.
Do you bowl league?
Shot. I do, yeah. I bowl my 3 games a week.
Right.
Bowl Friday nights, so I get home just in time to bowl league on Friday this week. And, I'm just kind of a mediocre bowler. I average about 213, 215, somewhere in there. Just have fun with my wife.
Can you get the sort of speed that these younger folks are generating?
Yeah, I've got a pretty high ball speed, and I kind of spin it a little bit, so kind of get on the side of it.
Bad miss for Finland. She won't be happy with herself after that, flagging a 10-pin by an inch or so. And first look at the bowler from Russia on lane 30. In pretty good shape, in the top 8 at the moment. 5,803 for his 27 games. 403 over the card, but that one failed to make the turn, and of course he came from the high end, so he didn't see what happened before to the Singaporean bowler. He went light a couple of times on that lane as well. So,
and Alexei Parshikov has had some good success in this tournament the last couple of years. He's a great bowler, very he looks very athletic, very fit.
Yes, and he looks like he might have played soccer or some athletic endeavours other than bowling before he took this up. It looks like he might do some weights. He's got a heck of a back there.
Yeah.
A lot of power.
Gonna miss it.
And that's a look of surprise on his face on the way back to the playing area. Surprised that one didn't come back for him.
He's still looking at the lane, trying to figure out what went wrong. As he opens in the first. Should have some updated standings here. Now you have people in the chat saying they want to see my bowling style. So how about this? When I bowl league on Friday night, if I get there on time, I will post a video on my Facebook and my Twitter of my bowling style, so you can look for that when you get home.
Okay, I'll be
You'll be on the edge of your seat.
I'll be all eyes, and I just can't wait, Lucas. Believe me.
First place, Francois Lowe, still in the top spot, but just by 51 pins. So that lead continues to shrink for Fran. He's averaging 221.33. Second place, Wu Su Hong of Hong Kong at 59.25. Jairus Go of Singapore is third. Paul Stott Jr. of Ireland is fourth. Alexei Parshukov of Russia is fifth. Boy, what happened to Cameron Doyle? Sixth place, Tomoyuki Sasaki of Japan. Seventh place is Ildemaro Ruiz Jr. of Venezuela. Cameron Doyle has dropped all the way from second to eighth today. And he is just inside the cut number now by 61 pins over B-Boy Rivera of the Philippines. So let's take a look at Cameron's line here and see what he's done. 200, 158, 154. A bit of a disaster for Cameron Doyle today.
Yeah.
And he has got to find a way to step it up, or he is now in jeopardy of maybe missing the next cut to the top 8, which would be a bit of an upset considering how well he bowled the first 3 days.
Right. And the Russian didn't make it up to the head pin very much on lane 30, and now on 29 he's found the same trouble that Michael Little had. That thing jumped on him halfway down the lane, and he's left a baby split second frame. Made the spare though, but he's looking a little puzzled on the first 2 shots on this pair.
Well, I think what happened this morning is that the first game we had Francois Lowe of South Africa, and he bowled really well, but he played the lanes differently. He played much farther right on lane 30 and much farther left on lane 29. So I think when the bowlers are coming here, it's tricking them a little bit because each lane is playing different because they've got broken down with 10 minutes of practice and then a full game from Fran. And so I think that this pair is looking like it could get pretty ugly throughout the rest of this day.
Yes. Well, let's see how he makes an adjustment here. Russia was in 4th place before that start of this game?
Yeah, sitting in 5th. Yep.
5th.
I mean, we have the advantage. We sit here and we watch the same pair the whole time, so we know what's happening with the transition a little bit. But the players, they don't have as much knowledge as we do of what's going on this pair.
Jumped on him. 3-6. Light, high, high. So 27 in the second for Russia. But he's got a bit of a break on 8th place. Doyle 57.68, and the Russian has 58.03.
Yeah, and really you want to look at Alexis at 58.03. You want to look at 9th because you don't want to drop to 9th. And so it's almost 100 between 5th and 9th. So he's got a little bit of a cushion with 5 games to go, but not very much when you think about it. If you bowl 170, it's half of it's gone, just like that.
Yeah, and 27 in the second isn't the stuff dreams are made of. It's the start of a nightmare.
Yeah, and you can see he's kind of bouncing around trying to loosen himself up, and I think it's more...
He looks like Rafael Nadal out there, the tennis player, fiddling around with every part of his clothing, and then the only thing he hasn't done is wipe the sweat off his brow. But that may come if he doesn't find a way in on 29 and 30.
Yeah, and it's hard when you move games or move lanes after each game because you go to a new pair who has maybe a different look, and he misses the spare. And it takes a few frames to kind of get comfortable and get a feel for what's going on the pair. And right now he's just lost it. No excuse for missing spares though.
Well, that'll get him thinking. 36 in the third.
Looks like he's starting to get a little angry.
And he's come from the end that Doyle's had a pair of 150s, so he's probably highly aware of the situation he finds himself in all of a sudden. And both of them in trouble here, both of them 36 in the third.
You notice that nobody's bowling right now. They're both trying to mentally recover after what's been a rough start here. England down in 19th place, Sam Rose. Averaging 203.89 this week.
Yes, the lane's definitely getting ugly. Norway just on lane 31 there, left a 2.810, so the ball not quite making the turn anymore on some lanes and jumping on others. It's a little weird. He's just fiddled around on the approach here 2 or 3 times, the Russian. He's moving left, moving right, just can't quite think what he wants to do.
Should be close. Yeah, good shot.
And 36 and a third will have you moving, shuffling your feet a little bit.
Someone was asking if Cameron Doyle is going to be on the featured pairs, and he will not catch our pair today.
And the women bowling at a quick pace. They're in the top of the 9th frame on lanes 27 and 28, and the men just finishing up the 4th frame on 29 and 30.
And it doesn't look like Shannon Plahowski will be here either. Just luck of the draw. We don't control who gets on the featured pairs. We just show it.
Norway shooting at a 2-teen pace or so. No opens. Finland flagged the 10-pin in the 4th, but could go off the sheet here for 237. That'd help her.
Johnny asks in the chat, Lucas, is there any place you hope the 2016 World Cup will be? I don't know. I mean, we've heard rumors that it'll be somewhere in the Asian zone. Singapore would be pretty nice. It's a nice place to visit, isn't it?
Singapore.
I went to the World Cup in Malacca, Malaysia. That was an interesting place.
And it's been in Pattaya in Thailand. That was another one that I was involved in the media room there in 1990.
It'd be awesome if it went to Australia or New Zealand. That would be kind of a fun
It'd
trip.
be really a great event to run in New Zealand. There's a couple of new bowling centres down there. I say new, not very old. And, you know, if they install AMF, QubicaAMF equipment, they'd be a chance to host it. That'd be a tremendous venue. New Zealand's a beautiful country, about 3 million people and about 100 million sheep, I've heard. But I've been there a few times. Did the first TV show commentaries down there back in the 80s. When the game first started in New Zealand, they weren't allowed to import the correct wood for the bowling lanes, and that was before synthetics, so they had to lay down the hardest wood they could find in New Zealand, and of course the lanes were dreadful.
Interesting.
But they finally got the approval to bring in pin setters. They had string machines in the early days. It really started out rough, but it's a modern game down there now, and either the North or South Island would be a great venue for it.
Well, when we find out, Johnny, we'll let you know. I'll be sure to tweet it out when we find out the host country for next year's World Cup. We hope to find out maybe even tomorrow. So I'll tweet that out or Facebook it once we find out. Someone asking if there's any bonus pins for today. There are no bonus pins for today. It's basically just an extension of qualifying. It's an extra 8 games, but we do carry forward all of the pinfall. Passanen with a good game, 225. Pretty solid effort on the women's side. 210 for Norway. And the pace of play has slowed considerably on our men's side as they are both looking very confused and uncomfortable and missing spares. And it's 29 and 30 has just turned into an absolute disaster pair. Which actually will be quite interesting to watch over the next 4 games. See what happens.
Ormi Guerra in trouble too. She's 112 in the 7th, just struck the 8. She can go off the sheet for 202, but that's a hard way to get a 200 game as a 5-bagger at the end of a rugged start. An open frame in the 4th, missed a single pin, and then left a split in the 7th. But she's in 9th and doesn't look like she'll be able to advance from there, even if she does go off the sheet. 202 doesn't usually move you up too many spots. Here she is now on lane 26 coming up next to the dead lane. There goes her ball now. And ripped the rack. She needed that one badly. Another light hit for Norway on lane 31. He's left 2 of those 2-8-10s back to back on lane 31. Sometimes you need to be hit over the head with a sledgehammer to work out that lane is that lane, and that's what it's doing that day, and it's not you or the way you're releasing the ball.
Got a message from Seija Lankinen in Finland. She's following the QubicaAMF in rainy Helsinki. Best regards. Thanks for watching, Seija. think we'll see you in Abu Dhabi next month for the World Women's Championships. Well, we'll be hard-pressed to get a 200 game out of this game on our featured pair.
Yeah, or any pair near it.
Yes, the scores seem to have, maybe it's not just this pair, the scores seem to be a little bit lower to the right of us as well.
Yeah, Norway 84 in the 6th. Israel 72 in the 5th and a spare, 75 in the 5th and a spare for Russia, and 64 in the 5th and a strike for England.
Indonesia, a couple of pairs over, not doing so well. Cameron Doyle from the U.S. is again bowling poorly, 83 in the 6th, it looks like, for Cameron. So men's division is looking pretty tough. The women are making them look not so bad today. Had some decent scores on the women's side.
Yes, the high games for the women have actually been a little higher generally across their 24-person field than the men. Now, the Russian changed balls, but went Brooklyn, so he's still confused.
If you want to find the results and the online scoring, the live scoring, so you can see the frame-by-frame for any pair in the house, go to QubicaAMF.com and click on the red Bowling World Cup icon at the top of the page, and that'll take you to where you can find all of the information. But once again, QubicaAMF.com. The results are updated after each game, and there's also live scoring, so you can see the frame-by-frame for all of the pairs throughout the house. And
we are using lanes 3 to 40 to 50. 3 to 50.
Yeah, 52 or something.
56 lane house here. Samstown big league house, 1,500 league bowlers here. As are most of the houses in Las Vegas. They really focused on the competitive side of the sport. Obviously lots of tournaments, and really Las Vegas a number of years back took over from Detroit as the bowling capital of America and the world, probably. Do you agree?
Yeah, in terms of competitive bowling, I'd say that might be accurate. Detroit still by far has the most bowlers, but certainly a lot of lanes here in Las Vegas for sure. A lot of huge bowling centers, a lot of tournaments. It's become basically the biggest tournament city in the United States because there are so many lanes. There's a double for Alexi.
And different balls on different lanes. He just used one on lane 30 that ran away from him. He got a Brooklyn, but he changed balls to lane 29, and he's working on it vigorously, trying to get whatever oil or whatever stuff is on there off it before he goes up. See what ball he picks up for this lane. He went Brooklyn with the one he changed to, and
well, he can still save this game for 2:15 or so.
Boy, that would be
pretty
huge.
Nice. He needs to strike here, otherwise it's going to be below 200 for sure.
Oh, that was a good shot.
Yeah, it's tough when the lane's tough and you're having a hard time getting matched up, and you make a shot like that. Leave the 4-pin. Looks very frustrated.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yes, that was pretty good off his hand.
Sam has really struggled here, and he makes a good shot and doesn't get the payoff either. Leaves the blowout 7.
A lot of blowout 7s on synthetic lanes that have usually big back ends. We get it a lot at the house in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. A lot of light hit 7 pins like that. We installed the QubicaAMF synthetics just over a year ago, and it's been really a big help to business.
World Bowling President Kevin Dornberger in the house. Nice to see Kevin.
Yeah, interested spectator yesterday, and still trying to nut out what'll ring the bells of the Olympic officials. Of course, there's been lots of theories about that over the years. They've been trying to get bowling in the Olympics since the 60s. And he's leading the charge at the moment. At least we made the first cut there.
Yes, making strides, but still some work to be done. And I know Kevin's leading the charge and making progress towards getting bowling in the Olympics. So we'll just have to stay positive and optimistic and hope that it happens.
Bill Vint had an interesting column in the Windy City Bowling News about the sports that did advance at least to a chance for the Olympic meeting in Rio next year. And he looked at the official playing numbers of a couple of the sports that made the final 5 there, and it's a mystery to me how bowling isn't in, to tell you the truth. A couple of sports there have less than 2,000 registered players, and it makes a short list on the Olympic program. So, you know, it'd be nice to get bowling in the Olympics, but have a look at some of the stuff that's in there and the judging that goes on, and the scandals over the years, and the rip-offs, Torval and Dean, the ice dancers, and other people that seemingly have been ripped off because of bad judging, and one wonders if it's all it's cracked up to be. That's my thought.
Yeah, the whole process tends to be very political as well, and so it's tough to break through. We've got Mexico and Philippines. Lisa Del Rosario and Sandra Gongora on 27 and 28.
Got to be a record with the Norwegian bowler coming back, shaking his head like he's just completely bewildered there. He's left that same split 3 times on lane 31, and he's moved every time.
Jeez. And he's going to be in the 140s. Marshikoff gets the double in the 10th to get into the 190s, which quite honestly is not that bad of a game on this pair right now.
Yeah.
The way it's looking.
2 Brooklyns to get there as well. So he's in Las Vegas, the home of gambling in America, maybe around the world, and he needs to go out and buy a lottery ticket after this game. That was a good break to get 190 with 2 Brooklyns in it.
All right, updated standings on the women's side after 28 games. Claire Guerrero of Colombia leading the way. The defending champion leads the field by just 13 pins over Maria Bulanova of Russia. Shannon Pluhowski of the United States is just another pin back, so she's just 14 pins off the lead, so very, very close to the top 3. And
the Russian got a 4 count.
Yeah, 4 count on the fill for 188.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Remember, Bill Allen had a book, 1,046 spares or something. That wasn't in it.
That's yeah.
The 1, 2, 4, 8, 6, 10. He just
super
carved
washout,
out.
Super washout with the 8.
He carved out the 3, 5, 7, 9 out of the full rack. I've never seen that in my life. Wow, 188, boy.
So the top 3 right now on the women's side: Colombia, Russia, the United States. Sandra Gongora, who's about to bowl on lane 27, is in 4th place. Isabel Hulton of Sweden is 5th. Siti Safaya of Malaysia 6th. 7th is Sana Pasanen of Finland. And 8th is Geraldine Ung of Singapore. She is the number right now, 9th place, and just outside of the cut is Misaki Mukotani of Japan, and she is 38 pins outside of the cut. Almi Guerra is 10th, sitting 70 pins back.
Well, Mexico out the window there, left a nasty washout.
Lisa Del Rosario of the Philippines sitting in 14th place. And she's on our pair as well this game.
Tough break for Mexico. That could have been a spare. So the Filipino, how far is she out of it? Let's see, Lisa, 56.20 to 58.07, 187 pins. Some big gaps in this field. It's close, you know, a pin here, a pin there. All of a sudden you'll have 40 or 50 pin, and in this case 180 sticks. She's looked better than that during the tournament. Bong Ku, a former World Cup winner, in the house this week as well. A lot of former World Cup winners here. Jeanette Baker, Amanda Bradley, Bong Ku, 4 of them in the women's field. All of them still alive. Plahowski just off screen. Throws kind of a backup ball at that 7 pin. She's 49 in the second, a spare in the 3rd. Puerto Rico, her playing partner.
Yeah, that's the closest that Plahowski is going to get to our featured pairs, is you'll be able to see her off to the left side today. We've only got this game and 3 more to go this morning to wrap things up. What time's your flight, Steve?
I need to probably hit the road after this game.
Okay, well, that's too bad. Got to head back and do some work, huh? Get back home and sure you wish you could stay and watch the rest of the tournament, right?
Yeah, I'd like to. Nice to sneak away for a couple of days. We've got some big leagues Wednesday night at our house, so. And she's made that one. That's about as straight as you can throw a ball. A lot of talent, a lot of versatility out there today with the younger bowlers.
We will have Kim Bolaby of Thailand and Marcus Jensen of Sweden coming up on 29 and 30 for Game 5.
Blahowski just a little high there. Got an 8 count, 67 and third now for her, just off to the left of the screen. Philippines started with a turkey. Takes a lot of time up there setting up deep. That's
Pen's going to roll toward it and gives it a nudge, but doesn't get it to go over.
Yeah, not quite enough. Good start for her though. You shoot 210 in the women's division, you're probably picking up 15 pins, 12 to 15 pins on the field. Won't be enough with just a few games to go, but well for her. Puerto Rico, a turkey after a spare, bowling down there with Blahowski. And the troubles continue on 29 and 30. Sweden through the beak. After a big split there.
I'm actually surprised that Jensen bowled because Kim Bolaby's not even down here yet. Who's going to be joining him on that pair?
Coach for Sweden, Peter Jung.
Past champion in this event, I believe.
Yep, back in the 80s. And they're looking for the playing partner. Can't find him.
He's coming. Yeah, he was all the way down at the high end, and he's walking down right now.
Yeah, it's a 56-lane house. It's not the place for a faint-hearted move. In fact, some of the women yesterday were moving from lane 50 to lane 8 or something.
Yeah,
that's a
big move.
That's a long drive down the concourse. Particularly yesterday, a lot of people here in the building. Good crowd yesterday. I just remembered I probably need to hit it right now.
Okay.
I've got to check out yet. I thought I'd already checked out and I haven't. So,
well, Steve, thanks for sitting in.
Very
we
much.
Appreciate it, and we hope to see you again. And good luck with the New Mexico Open next August. And where can people find information on that tournament?
We'll have it up on our website, 10pins-more.com eventually, and it'll be posted on our Facebook page. And look for some details probably around March or so, but it will be the third weekend of August next year. I'm hoping to pay out $65,000 or $70,000 in prize money.
Nice. All right, Steve Mack, thanks for joining us, and have a safe flight home.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on here, game number 5 of 8. We've got just a couple of more games to go after this game ends, or a few more games to go, to wrap things up here in the round of 24, finalizing our field for the round of 8 here today. The round of 8 will take place tomorrow morning, followed by the semifinal and final tomorrow afternoon. Gora struggling a bit here in game 5, trying to find her way halfway through this game. As we're just underway with game 5 with Sweden and Thailand. See if we've got updated standings for you on the men's side, as they have completed 28 games. We do. Francois Lowe still in the lead by 24 pins over Woo-Soo Hong of Hong Kong. Actually, I take that back. I'm incorrect. It's 124 pins. Let's see what Fran bowled 246 last game to help extend that lead. Woo-Soo Hong only had 153, so that lead really jumped quite a bit for Fran. He's in the top spot by 144 pins now. Ildemar Ruiz has made a big move up the standings. The Venezuelan now in third place. Tomoyuki Sasaki of Japan also making his move. He's in fourth. Jerisko of Singapore, fifth place. Alexei Parshikov of Russia is sixth. Paul Stott Jr. of Ireland is seventh. And Cameron Doyle of the United States is in eighth place and just 22 pins ahead of ninth. B-Boy Rivera of the Philippines is in ninth place. Just a couple of marks outside of the cut right now with 4 games to go. Doubler for Jansen. Wrapping up the 6th frame. Bullaby struggling a little bit. 93 of the 6th on our men's pair. Might be able to catch a glimpse occasionally of our tournament leader, Francois Lowe of South Africa to the right. He's bowled really well. Strike spare 4-bagger for Fran. And our women's pair, Lisa Del Rosario, 9th frame, working on a spare. She gets the strike, can still shoot 211 this game. Sandy Gongora of Mexico can get to 201 heading into the 10th. All right, and our daily visit from Tim Mack. Tim, the guys, the lanes on the men's side look a little tricky today, huh?
Well, the high end is really tough up at the high end where the guys are bowling. They're just pair to pair. They're really tough. It's you had to keep pretty straight angles early, but you couldn't throw it firm because you could throw it right through the break point. Guys have obviously migrated left now. Francois Lowe is really having a great day, and
he's whacking in this game.
Yeah, he's killing this game.
Yeah.
He's got a 5-bagger this game, and he's well into the lead. I mean, well into the lead.
Yeah, 140 into the lead right now.
And padding his lead. So
yeah.
It'd be interesting to know if there are bonus pins in the round of 8 or not. I don't know.
There are 30 pins.
30 pins.
Yeah.
Okay, so that tells me that anybody can get to the top 8. Any of those 8 guys can make the top 3 TV show.
Yeah.
So. It's going to be really interesting coming down the stretch. We only got a couple games left. Feels like we only got like 3 games left.
Yeah, this is game 5. We've got 6, 7, and 8 coming up, and
so the pace has been so much quicker today. But the lanes have broken down today differently because there's only 2 on a pair. So that friction spot that was so much more defined in games 4, 5, 6 yesterday really hasn't shown up yet. It's going to probably show up the last 2 games. So. That's why you see some of the scores. People are really struggling moving pair to pair on the men's side.
Yeah, scores have not been quite as low on the women's side, but it looks like they're starting to go down a little bit as we move along here.
Right.
29 and 30 has looked pretty ugly the last little bit here. As it was really high scoring the first 2 games. We watched Francois Lowe on this pair the first game. He played each lane differently. He played a little bit farther right on 30 and a little bit more swinging the ball on 29, and I think that because of that, it has made this pair really get a bit tricky, as each lane seems to be different, and it's really confusing the players as they come here. And Jensen has done a good job overcoming it. He had a couple of splits early, but he seems to have figured it out here.
Yeah, he's firm. Actually, he throws the ball a lot like Francois.
Yeah.
And firm with a lot of rev rate, and he's not really covering a lot of the lanes. So he's taken that hang out of play to the right, and he's able to get it through the mid lane with his ball speed. So it's yeah.
It's interesting, making the players think today.
No doubt. And the one guy it hasn't affected the most is the leader, because he's firm with his speed, and he's got an incredible amount of rev rate. So if he does miss a little bit right, even though he's fast, his ball still picks up. And because of his ball speed and angle, because he's not playing a big angle, but because of his ball speed, he's able to create a little hole for himself as well.
Well, you'll see Fran occasionally on the far right side of your screen on
he's still
31.
striking as if he strikes out in the 9th and 10th, shoots 280. And we haven't seen a lot of 220, 230 games, let alone 280. So, but I can tell you who's making a run today, and we talked about it yesterday. There were some crazy words said on Facebook with some of the posts about the left side of the lane.
Yep.
And the guy that had the second best score yesterday in the building, Rafiq Ismail from Malaysia.
Yep.
If you could pull up his scores real quick and just let's see what he's done.
He's moved up to 12th.
Yeah, and he was in 22nd to start the day.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he's bowling huge today.
Okay, 245, 268, 224, 237. But apparently, there's nobody, you can't play on the left side of the lane. It's no good. Apparently, it's not good at all, because he's bowled one game in his last 10 under 220.
Yeah.
One guy. Oh, no, sorry, 2. He's had a 180 in game 21 and a 194 in game 19. So
he's been wrecking them.
So I'm sorry, but and I know who the post came from. It was pretty disrespectful.
I think it has since been deleted and apologized for.
It should be.
Yep.
But that stuff, that doesn't help us grow the sport. That doesn't help anything at all.
I completely agree.
But here's a solid bowler proving a couple people's theories wrong. So hats off to him. And I'm telling you, he's got to be close. How far is he out of the number?
He's at 58. He's about 100 back.
He's 100 back, and if he keeps going, 4 games left. he had to be 200 something. He had to be well back after last round.
So, Tim, have you watched Cameron Doyle at all today? What's going on with him?
I have.
He's really struggling.
For me, and what I saw, he was just too shiny of a bowling ball. It was too sharp a couple games ago, and I don't know if it didn't look like he was going to bowl a good game. Again, really trying to go do the soft float, which got him to where he is today, isn't working at all. And I think, I just think his angles are off.
Just shot 173.
170 again. He's out of the top 8 now.
He's going to drop out of the number now.
Yeah, and because the chasers are actually bowling quite well. So if we look at he's bowled 150, 150, 190, 170 this morning.
Yeah.
That's not going to get it done. So I tell you, the guys you got to be wary of. Marcus Jansen's making a push right now.
Yep. Just
bowled 230.
Yep. Just bowled a big game here on our feature.
Ryan Lilasang and B-Boy Revere, two well experienced machines. If they get close.
Ryan has made a big move today as well. He's been moving up the standings.
Yep. So you've got some chasers that have a lot of experience and aren't afraid to strike when they're coming from behind.
Well, if Cameron wasn't feeling the pressure at the start of the week, he's feeling it now.
He will be now.
He's on the verge of not making the next cut.
Yeah, and hopefully he can get something sorted out. I didn't like his angles or his ball speed, and I didn't like the surface he had in his balls either as well. So, but I'm not his coach.
Yep.
And he's not on our company staff, and I can't say anything to him.
We'll see if he figures it out, though, in the last 3 games.
He's got a smart man behind him, Rod Ross, so let's see if Rod can help him out. I know Rod's been up here with Shannon. It's a pretty tough situation for the coaches. If you only have one coach on hand, it makes it really difficult because you've got the men and the women bowling together at the same time, so it makes it difficult. Who do you pick and choose?
And they're spread out pretty far.
And they're spread out, yeah. I mean, they're using from, 5 to 52.
Yeah.
So with only a couple, with one, is there any dead pairs in between? No. So from 5 to 52, you got bowlers spread out, one on the lane, so it makes it a little bit difficult.
Fran ends up shooting 250 that game, so another great game for him.
Who was in second? Woo-Soo Hong?
Woo-Soo Hong is in second place.
And Nili Mardo was in third?
And Woo-Soo Hong had the front 7 and went 9 spare, so
he
actually can pick up a few pins this game.
Let's click on Nili Mardo. He's
bowled really well.
He's had a phenomenal morning this morning.
Yeah. The last 3 games have been great.
Fantastic. 220, 260, 240. Wow. Got some guys really making moves right now. But I would expect Cameron now, these last 3 games, to bowl well because the lane now allows for that soft, slow hook now because they've got enough games on them. With 5 games in, you're about where game 3 would be in the qualifying. So I would expect him to, make a charge here. What do we got going on in the women?
Yeah, updated standings after 29. Clara Guerrero, Colombia in the lead. Maria Bulanova of Russia is just 16 back.
She's making a charge, man.
Shannon Plahowski is...
Let's click on Maria and
let's go through real quick.
Yeah.
17 pins back is Plahowski of the lead. And then got a little bit of a drop. Sandra Gregor of
100
Mexico.
pins, yeah.
Isabel Holton of Sweden is 5th. Siti Safaya of Malaysia is 6th. Sanna Passanen of Finland is 7th. And the cut number right now is Geraldine Ung of Singapore at 61.07. Misaki Mukotani of Japan is 32 back of the cut with 3 games to go, and Almigata is kind of 90 back. So
back.
it's kind of
let's click on
tough for her.
Bulanova. I hope we got that right this time so we don't get a text and see how bad it was.
Yeah, she's 254, 203, 226, 248, 203 today. So that's
what a run she's had since the start of yesterday, the finish of day 2. From her 270 game. Wow, she's really putting on a charge here.
Yeah, she's bowling well, making that move and threatening
she's
for
17.
the lead. Yeah,
17.
She's very young.
So
I have a feeling there's some college coaches out there who might want to try to get their hand on her for collegiately in the U.S.
If they were smart, they would have been here.
That's true.
There's a couple young people that can really sling it.
Yeah, there was the girl from Ecuador this week was only 15 years old, the youngest player in the field. And we've got Bulanova on our featured pairs this game. Look at her shred the rack. Very, very impressive game.
Yep. She does all the things right. Physically strong, great finish at the foul line. Gets through it at the bottom. Great timing, great leverage.
They've got some great bowlers starting to come up from that Russian program who
No
are
doubt.
young and starting to make
They
an
have
impact.
to. There's so many people that they have
There's
to.
a ton of people that live in Russia, and bowling seems to be picking up pace over there.
They have to get better. So many people over there.
You could say the same thing about China too, and we
Right.
haven't really seen a big impact out of China.
It's coming.
India
China's
as well.
coming.
I would say that India and China probably are coming with some good bowlers.
They're coming. Dhruv
Won't be long.
Sarda was there this week. Bowled well last year, but the lane was a little bit more difficult. But ball roll wise and shot shape wise, he's coming
Yep.
as well.
Bianca from the Netherlands. She's down in 14th place, pretty far outside of the number.
Would have to make a huge push coming back.
About 180 pins outside of
Yeah.
the number with 3 to go, so that's tough.
Anybody in the chat been asking some questions this morning?
I don't know. We got a lot of viewers though. We're almost at 1,200, which is really awesome.
Oh, we got the respect from Mulanova.
There we go. What a great shot again. Just a real solid game.
I'm
for
telling
her.
you, I've been around bowling a long time. It's been a long time. I don't think I've ever seen a woman. The only woman I've ever seen have that kind of rev rate on balance is Michelle Feldman. And Michelle, obviously, is a girl in New York that has a bunch of PBA women's tour titles. And when they were back in the day, she really slung it off her hand pretty good. But this Bulanova young lady she's special, no doubt about it.
And she keeps striking like this. She very well may be our leader at the end of this day, heading into match play tomorrow morning.
Sure. Match play tomorrow morning, 7 more games, and then it's cut to the top 3, if I'm correct, right?
That is correct.
So right now the magic number is 8. You got to get to the 8th spot because anything can happen when you have 7 games and 30 bonus pins. It's 210 pins out there for free. You can make a charge and anything can happen.
Yeah, just trying to get in the number right now. Here is Bulanova.
Got to be in the dance, man. I mean, every time on balance, left arm strong.
Yeah, I mean, look how balanced she is at the line and how
Everything.
she comes through the ball perfectly, and the arm swings right in line, and it's just I don't know who's coaching her, but it's they're doing a good job. Or if it's all natural. It's hard
Well,
to
I think it's probably a little bit of both. She's obviously got in good hands, but to throw a ball like that, you have to have a lot of natural ability, and she obviously has that. Fun to watch. Wow.
Yeah, spare 4-bagger.
Our daily
Maria.
picture.
Is this going to be turned into a meme on Facebook?
I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time.
They always take a picture of you when you're in the booth.
They're
Your
busting
storm
my they're
friend.
busting my chops. That's why.
It's all right. You're doing all you can for the sport of bowling.
Trying to help. Trying to do my part.
All right, let's see what Maria does here. 6th frame. Really taking her time on this
She
shot.
takes an awful lot of time. That'd probably be the only thing I think she needs to improve on. She takes a little bit too much time in the foul line. She pulled up on that
Yeah,
one. That
she
wasn't
did.
good.
That was a bad shot.
That wasn't good. You can see her at the finish. Everything was
Yep.
pulled up from the get-go. She grabbed that one a little bit.
And off balance at the line, which
Yeah,
you don't see.
which
she
don't
does
happen
it
so
well.
often.
Yeah. Japan and Italy joining us on 29 and 30 for this game on the men's side, as they are a little bit slower than the women.
This young kid from Italy throws it awfully good. 21 years old. Nicola. I can't pronounce his last name, but
Let's see if we can find him here.
Pongelino?
Yeah, Pongolini.
Pongolini, but whatever it is, he throws it
Nicola
good.
Pongolini, I would go with. And he's sitting currently down in 17th place. Haven't quite got the update yet after 29. Oh, just got it. And Francois Lowe is still solidly in the lead by 144 or so it's about the same. Jairus Go of Singapore moves up to 3rd. Paul Stott Jr. is now in 4th of Ireland. Tomoyuki Sasaki, who's on our featured pairs this game of Japan, is 5th. Alexei Parshikov and Ildemar Ruiz are tied at 6th. 8th place now is Ryan Lalisang of Indonesia. B-Boy Rivera is 9th of the Philippines. Cameron Doyle has dropped all the way to 11th place now.
Yeah, but he's only 30 pins out. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Only
you got
30 out.
Yeah, and Muhammad Rafik's only 100 back.
Yep. So Cameron's dropped from 2nd to 11th today. It's dropping like a rock, and he's got to get it going. The 170s and 150s aren't gonna cut the mustard here today.
Yeah, Marcus Jensen's right outside the number. He's closing.
Much better
The
shot.
difference with some of those other guys is the other guys are closing, and Cameron hasn't had many doubles today, so he's got to figure it out in a hurry. But like I said, I think he's got a great chance to get there because the lane should be getting better for him. Although I just saw him go runaway Brooklyn over there for a strike.
Looks like he's on 37 and 38 in this game.
It looks like he's a spare double to start.
Could be a monster game for Maria Bolanova.
She'd take the lead after this game, couldn't she?
Yeah, I don't know what Clara's bowling, but she certainly could.
Isabella Holton down there has spare 6-bagger as well.
Clara's down on 9 and 10. Gonna trip it? Nope. Clara is bowling. She's bowling okay. 109 in the 5th, spare in the 6th, but Maria certainly could take the lead after this game. Sitting only 16 pins back of the top spot.
Right. What are the people saying in the chat? Anything exciting?
Let's see what we got here.
See if we got any questions.
Not really, just people commenting on the standings.
Yeah.
Cynthia said, Tim, you said Cameron's using a ball that was too shiny. What finish would you recommend if you could?
Well, early, I think he was using the ball that was in the transition was too shiny. I think balls that have 2,000 grit, a fresh 2,000 with his type of rev rate would be really good. Kind of blend it out a little bit, get it to start quick enough so it doesn't hit the hang, but it's not too early to where it hooks too early. And Francois Lowe used a duller ball early, and now he's been in a shinier skid and skyrocket. But you got to remember, Francois throws it a lot harder than Cameron and is keeping everything in front of him and on line. Cameron's trying to hook it too much a little bit, so hence that's why he's been in a little bit of jail. I just think and also he might just be having one of those bad field days. They want to know how Camila from Aruba's bowling.
Haven't seen her today. Haven't really mentioned her name, so I'm guessing not so well. She's down in the basement.
Yeah, she's in last, so she's not going to make the top 8 this tournament, but she's a nice young bowler that's got a big future. Take a look at the English girl. They said she's making a run.
Sorry, I'm deleting some spam from the chat. Kara's down in 12th. She's
55.
Yeah, 67. Wait, no, more than that. 167 out of the cut.
Yeah.
It's tough with 3 games to go.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she's going to make it either. The women's, there's a bigger gap in the women's. Really, the only chance the women have a chance to make it are the women in 9 and 10th.
Yeah, kind of 10th seems to be where the cut is.
I mean, Amandine Jakes would have to bowl a huge last 3 games just to get close, because, as you said, they're 162 pins back, so there's a big gap there. On the men's side, it probably goes down to 12th, I think. It has a pop to make it. So Cameron missed the.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Yep. Missing single pins now. Cameron Doyle.
He's had a lot of success for a young kid, and I had to talk with him on the elevator on the way upstairs yesterday. He's going to be good for a long time, but the sport is, it'll humble you in a hurry. Humbles everybody.
And
you have good days and bad days, and
it is Cameron's first debut as a Team USA member, so
yeah,
a long way to go for him in his career.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be back in the spotlight real soon if it doesn't go well from these last couple of games. The kid's too good. So. Not a lot exciting. Not a lot happening right in front of us other than the women bowling pretty good right here. Bulanova had an open in the 9th frame. Best she has is 225 now.
Question in the chat, what do you think is the reason that only 2 lefties made the top 24 for the men? I'll tell you what, because there weren't that many lefties.
There's not that many lefties. It's pretty simple.
2 is a pretty high percentage, to be honest.
2 out of 24. Why don't you count how many lefties were in the field?
Right. I would say that's probably a higher percentage of lefties than righties that made the cut.
The 2 lefties that come to mind that didn't make it for me would have been Shakir Al Hassan from UAE. And
Daniel Vestas of Latvia.
Daniel.
He was throwing back up, so he was playing the right side of the lane. He's two-handed, so.
Daniel, I'll say this: Daniel didn't bowl a smart tournament. That's what I'll say. He just didn't bowl smart this week. Yeah. And he's got a big strike ball, and he's better than what he showed. So I'm trying to think of who else was left-handed.
And Shakir was pretty close. He was right near the number.
Yeah,
so.
I'm trying to think about who else was left-handed that didn't make it on the men's side.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to.
We'd have to go back through them and look at all the men, but
there weren't that many lefties.
I mean, let's just look just below the number to see if there's anybody we're missing that's left-handed. No, Moretti, no. Shakir in 30th.
Shakir's 30th. Daniel's 32nd.
No, the righty. Jonas Jekinen would be the other one from Finland.
And he didn't have a great tournament.
So that's 3.
But he still finished 39th.
Yeah, but that's 3. And Mubarak Al-Mariki, that's 4. That's 4 lefties. So 30% of the lefties at bowled made the cut. I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty good percentage.
Yeah, 2 out of 6 that made it. So and right now, in the last 2 days, the guy that has one of the higher scores of the building is left-handed.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
So I say we have pretty good representation.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean,
different styles, right-handed, left-handed.
Right-handed, left-handed, high rev rates, low rev rates. It's a little bit of everything. I mean, the lanes are challenging this week. They're not easy. They're difficult.
Final shot here for Maria is she's going to be in the 220s. Could have been a much bigger game. Missed that spare in the ninth.
That looks pretty good there, too.
She chopped the 3-6-10 in the ninth.
Yeah, 225.
225 is a good game. Not sure it's going to be enough to get her in the lead, but...
Cynthia's asking...
can the bowlers alter the surface during the tournament?
Sure.
Can they do that
here?
Oh, okay.
After each game they can, yes.
So it's like it's World Bowling rules,
Yeah, because it's a 6-ball tournament. You can always alter the surface after every game.
If you could offer any type of advice to Cameron or anyone in general coming to this tournament for the first time, what would it be?
Get here early, especially if you're flying from another time zone. Get to the tournament site early. Try to acclimate your body clock on. It's not easy for everybody traveling around the world. I'd recommend making sure you have a diversified arsenal of bowling balls so that you can attack multiple angles and multiple different scenarios throughout the tournament. That would be probably the first 2 things I would do.
And how about this? Make your spares.
If you made spares this week, guess what?
You're right there. Make your spares,
there.
catch a couple of doubles a game. You're right there near the lead.
Yep.
Avoid trouble, too. You stay out of trouble, not leave splits.
Well, I looked over here to my left. I saw Jerry Young. She 180. She was 8th. And we just got a message on the chat that Kira from...
England, 268.
Yeah.
That might boost her up a bit.
There's a perfect example of a Muhammad... I don't know, I can't say your last name, Saifrol?
Yeah.
Rafik on fire tonight. He's started 23rd, and now he's the 12th, averaging 235. Well, you forgot to also mention that yesterday he had the 2nd highest score in the building as well. So, for the last 12 games, he's probably 2nd right now with his pinfall. And I talked to him earlier about what had transpired. And see, the young Rafik is very young, but he's had a lot of success young. And some of these kids and some of the youth and some of the bowlers are so used to bowling 240, 250 everywhere they go that when they don't have a 7 or 8 bagger a game, they hit the panic button. and he knows that he hit the panic button early in this tournament because he's so used to striking, and he didn't strike. So he figured it out, and obviously is putting his pieces together and striking a lot.
John wants to know what oil pattern we're using. It's just a special pattern developed for this tournament, and you can find it at QubicaAMF.com. If you click the Bowling World Cup red button at the top of the page, it'll be on that page. Sasaki kind of going through the struggles here on 29 and 30, as is Pongolini. Is 29 and 30 has been pretty tricky the last few games. Watch the bowlers come on here and struggle. And we're waiting for the next game to start on the women's side. Should be coming pretty soon. Venezuela and Malaysia will be on 27 and 28. I think we're going to have our picture taken again.
Yeah, it's not surprising. With James Corden here. Well, Taramusha, whatever his name is, 57, he obviously doesn't understand bowling too much. Sorry, if you're going to say something dumb like that, you obviously don't understand the game too well.
Yeah, I'm going to delete that comment because we don't need that kind of negativity in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to have something productive and, you know, asking questions and you want to support the bowling, that's great. But if you don't have anything productive to say or try to help our sport, keep your comments to yourself.
And I would say a lot of these bowlers could give the guys on the PBA Tour a run for their money, couldn't they?
Well, there's one on the PBA Tour now that's bowling.
Is.
Guillermo Ruiz.
That's right.
Right?
He is, yeah.
Okay, and he's had some success on tour, and it's not like he's a bad bowler.
And I think if you put Francois Lowe on the tour, he'd do pretty good too. Have no problem holding his own.
Just want to give a shout out to my boys out in Bahrain. I just had a message from them on the chat and also on my phone. Hope they're doing well over there. Bahrain didn't send any representation here. Hopefully in the next World Cup or the next World Championships, we'll have some people in the events because they got plenty of good bowlers in the country.
That's kind of a small country in the Middle East.
Yes,
Bahrain.
it is. Yeah, I spent 2 years coaching the national team there. I had a great experience and great time there. It was a lot of fun and a lot of good people there. Mohammed Sultan and Mohammed Janahi and Yusuf Falah and Fawaz Abdullah, who actually made a PBA TV show here in America, here in this city in Las Vegas. So it's good to see. Good to see the Bahrain boys still supporting the event, even though they don't have somebody here.
The struggles continue on 29 and 30 with our guys. This pair has turned into be a pretty ugly pair, and it was very high scoring the first game or two, and since then it's gone kind of downhill. As Patricia De Faria, Venezuela, steps up and leaves a 10-pin on her first shot. Siti Safaya of Malaysia will be joining us on that pair as well for Game 7.
It's apparent that some people in the chat don't understand bowling and don't understand what's going on out here.
And
Tirmusha, I want to comment on Tirmusha's 57. He says, you know, talking about the kids, that it's confusing why such minimal talent is streamed here. Just so you know, Tirmusha, Cameron Doyle beat Chris Barnes, Tommy Jones, Billy O'Neill. Who else?
Everybody.
Sean Rash.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sean bowled this year. Mike Fagan. All of those names that have about 70 PBA titles between them, he won the qualifier, my friend. Just so you know. He beat all those guys, all the PBA talent. So you can think that there's minimal talent here, but you obviously don't understand bowling too well. Because that's the guy that beat all those guys to get his invitation to get here.
And I would encourage you, if you're not enjoying the talent level of the live streaming, turn it off and just go away. we don't need you.
Right. We're here to promote bowling and help bowling and show you some of the greatest international players around the world. And these are the guys, these are the creme de the creme of the men and the women that made it through the grueling 24-game process today.
And the nature of bowling these days is everybody's so used to throwing strikes and shooting 230 in their league that when they watch live streaming or a tournament and the lanes are a little bit tougher and the scores are a little bit lower, they instantly think that the bowlers aren't any good.
No, that's right. That's right. You know,
it's pretty sad.
And another guy I mentioned, Marshall Kent, was also in that field. You know, and the names that I mentioned all have made multiple TV shows and have multiple wins on the PBA Tour in the last 5 years. And Cameron was the one that, a 16-year-old phenom when he did it and went out and won the event. So it's not like they're getting there by accident. So it's reality. It's just the nature of our sport. So, and if you guys were here, you would see how demanding the lane condition is. It's demanding lane condition.
It is.
It is a very demanding lane condition. So, and I think AMF and the people at the World Cup here have done a fantastic job. Fantastic job with being consistent day to day to day. It's been tough since day one, and it's actually gotten tougher as the tournament's gone on, and that's because all the re-oils, all the strip and re-oils, lane always changes a little bit. They get a little tighter down the lane, and it's a very, very, very difficult. I'm really pleasantly pleased to see how tough it is. It's really nice to see. That's my opinion. Because I've known this tournament as I don't want to be disrespectful, but as a strike fest, you know what I mean? And we don't see that this week. And
what a tough game for Sasaki of Japan. He was in 5th place and shoots 156. And so almost certainly he's going to drop in the standings after shooting 156 that game on this tough pair. Pongolini of Italy only had 172. And we've got a couple of games to go here before we make our next cut. We made the cut to 24 last night, and now we're going to make the cut to the top 8 for the men and the top 8 for the women here today.
Yeah.
Pretty harsh cuts.
Hey, listen, it's cutthroat.
But you
know what? 24 games.
Yep.
And then another 8 games. That's 32 games to the top 8. You're going to get your best 8 that bowled during the week when you have 32 games of qualifying to get there. So I think this format's phenomenal and fantastic, and I think it's great for bowling.
Siti Safaya, Malaysia, up on lane 28. She kicks out that 4-pin for the strike. Looks like we're going to have your boy David Maycock coming on, featured pair for this game.
Here comes Mayo. He's going to need a big one.
Yeah, he had a good week, but he's been fading a little bit the last couple of days, down in 13th place.
Getting a lot of messages on my phone from guys that are watching around the world. I just want to say a shout out to a couple. One of the greatest of all time, who's won this event before in Hermosillo, Mexico, Torrey Torgerson. I traveled with him for most of my international career. He's up in Norway, probably having a Mac beer. By the way, I have a beer named after me in Norway.
Do you really? Oh,
he's
nice.
up there, probably watching the live stream with his foot on the couch and watching it and having some fun. So it's great to see all the messages coming in. So it just shows you how many people around the world are watching.
Yeah, there's people everywhere watching. I always enjoy going back at the end of this tournament and looking at the stats to see how many countries tuned in over the course of the week, and it's a pretty impressive number. We're going to have Bermuda and Slovakia on our live stream pair for the men this game, as our women are already in the 4th frame.
Right. Are the standings updated from the last game? Just going to see if Maycock's coming over this pair. And
not yet.
Okay.
We might have the women's standings. Let's take a look. We should have the women's standings.
Yeah, the women should be done.
Clara's in the lead by 3 pins over Shannon Plahowski. And Maria Bolanova is
4
only
pins.
4 back. So it's really quite tight for the top 3.
And then there's a little gap there. It looks like a 70-pin gap, right?
Yep. Sandra Gongora is 4th from Mexico. Isabel Holton is 5th from Sweden. 6th place is Siti Safaya, who's on our featured pairs from Malaysia. 7th place, Sanna Passanen of Finland. And 8th place, Geraldine Ung of Singapore. Misaki Mukatani of Japan is just 32 pins outside of the cut right now. And Kira Ray of England has made her big move, and
268 last game, so
70 out.
She's got a puncher's chance with 2 to go, 70 out. So
and Almi fading a little bit down in 11th now, 116 out of the number.
We see Kira with another 260 game, and she probably be right back in the swing of things. See where we are on the men's side when it gets updated. Hopefully, it gets updated soon. And
yeah, it won't take long.
Yeah, they've been really good with the scores this week for sure. But you got to look at David Maycock here on lane 30. Been a tough pair for everybody. Gets off to a good start. He's going to need a couple big games coming down the stretch.
He came on the live stream pairs a couple of days ago to talk with us. And, had a great conversation. It was very easy to understand. And then I talked to him off the headset yesterday. I couldn't understand a word he said.
Yeah, not so easy.
I think he toned it down a notch for us with the accent when he got on the live stream.
Maycock's he's a character,
got
man.
The thick accent from
Real
Bermuda.
thick accent from Bermuda. Homegrown Bermuda, right from the island, man. So he's a great guy to be around, I can tell you.
Everybody's phone always lights up when they sit in in the seat next to me here in the booth.
So that has something. That obviously has something to do with you. That means that we got a lot of viewers around the world watching.
We've got people all over the place.
Thank God for Lucas Wiseman. I'm going to call him the James Corden of live bowling. James Corden hosts the Late Late Show.
Yeah, he's funny.
Oh my God,
Love
he's
that
funny. Funny. That's what I'm going with.
Fortunately, I'm too old to stay awake that late most nights, but it's a funny guy. We've got a game to go after this one, so we're in game 7 of 8.
Did Francois Lau pull another good game?
Waiting to refresh here.
Hopefully we'll find out. I got a good mate of mine who.
Not yet.
I got a good mate of mine who's good friends with him down in South Africa, Jason Bezzi, and he's trying to do some more things productively for bowling down there. And one of my best friends, Guy Kaminsky, who's been on this in this event a number of times. I know those guys are really supportive of bowling and South African bowlers down in South Africa. So hopefully good things happen, and we'll see what happens. Maycock with a big double here. Good start.
Looks like they're updated on the board up top here, but not quite on the website yet.
So we got Geraldine just to the left of our camera, actually bowling a really good game when she has to, because she's in 8th position.
Correct.
She's got the front 4 spare strikes, so that's a huge game to try to give her some cushion going into that last game for the women. For some reason, the men hasn't updated.
Yeah, it's weird. It's reverted to like 5 games. It doesn't make any sense. Something's wrong with it, I think. Well, we can look at it on the scrolling screen up top when it comes around again. I can tell you that Cameron Doyle's dropped to 12th now.
Ilimardo Ruiz is the number on the men's side.
Someone says front 9 for Kira Ray.
If she has the front 9 this game, that means she's got a gigantic pop to get in the number, because she was just only 70 out of the number, and she just got off at 268.
She must be down at the low end.
She's not. Yeah, she's got to be on the low end.
Well, she's on 15 and 16.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, yeah.
Here she
9.
comes.
Oh, wow. What
268 front 9. We did say she would need a Herculean run, and she's definitely put it on him right now.
Yeah, I can't quite see.
I can see her right now. I can see her. She's up on the lane right now. I'll stand up and let you know.
Oh, yeah,
there she goes.
Just threw the ball.
She got it.
Struck again.
Front 10.
Yeah.
Here she comes.
Very cool. I'm going to walk down there and get a video of it. I'll let you take over.
Absolutely. Here. Catch it up, and I'll handle the booth while our man Lucas is gone. As we said, he's on his way down to watch Kira see if she can complete the only 300 in the game. So I know some people are hustling down there to see if she can complete the elusive 300. No one's bowled 300 yet, and she's got the front 10. And on our cameras, live on our camera, she's off camera, but she's going for number 11. And she got it. Front 11. See Maycock wash out. He's going to have to make that spare. We haven't seen the scores updated yet. It's tight right now on the men and women's side, but Kira Ray making a huge push to get to the top 8. About to possibly shoot 300. Let's see what happens. Or maybe she did shoot 300. I can't see. Did she shoot the 300? She did shoot the 300, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, she just packed it in there for a strike on the last one.
I got to go down and congratulate her. So Lucas is back in the booth. I'll be right back.
So we got a 300 game, our first one of the tournament from Kira Ray. Great game for her. See if I can get that posted for you guys. Got the last shot on video.
can confirm Kira Ray 300, Rotogrip Menace, first 300 in the tournament. That's 568 for the last two.
Yeah, and she's going to be real close to the number. I mean, Geraldine feeling the pressure now. She's going to shoot 235, but
No, she will. Yeah, oh yeah, she shoots 235. But who's in front of her? Let's see who's in front of her to see if she's.
it was Mukatani of Japan.
Was there a big gap? No, I mean in front of Geraldine.
In front of Geraldine.
35 pins.
Yeah, 36 Finland was ahead.
So Kira Ray's going to go to 64-18. And Geraldine's going to be behind her by a significant amount. But if she caught the girl from Japan, we can see what's happened there. So we got a lot going on right now.
We do. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the video of that last shot so I can find it.
Did you get down there in time to get it?
I did, just barely.
Good. There it is.
Yeah, we'll put that on our Facebook page.
Just got a message from Alex Hamilton, who works with the Team England with Johnny Zadell, and been very instrumental in Kira and Sam trying to help them get prepared to get over here. Obviously very happy that Kira shot 300, and she's got a nice 568 for the last two, making a big push.
We are getting that posted right now. On our USBC Facebook page. You'll be able to see it in just a moment.
Going to come up and see the last shot. They are not easy.
Yeah, we've got just a game and a half to go on the men's side and just a game to go on the women's side to wrap things up here in the round of 24.
One to go, and I'll tell you what, the women's probably going to be the really exciting cut. It's going to be pretty tight coming down the stretch.
Yeah, especially with that 300 from Kira Ray, that's really going to tighten things up considerably.
Absolutely. What happened? Did we get the men's scores updated yet at all, by any chance? Or wait till that video loads?
Here, it's going. Let's see. Men's results here after 30. It says 6, but I think it's actually correct. Francois Lowe of South Africa leading by almost 200 pins.
Wow.
Wu Suhong is second. Alexei Parshikov of Russia third.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah,
Rafik Ismail is only 19 pins off the show.
Yeah, he's
okay.
or out of the cut. Yeah, he's Jericho of Singapore fourth, Paul Stott of Ireland fifth. Ryan Lalisang has moved all the way up to sixth now. Indonesia. Tomoyoko Sasaki dropped after that bad game last game on our featured pairs. He's in seventh. Ildemaro Ruiz is hanging on in eighth place. Marcus Jensen of Sweden just 10 back of the cut.
Wow.
Rafik Ismail of Malaysia is just 19 back. B-Boy Rivera is only 23 back, and Cameron Doyle is now 67 back in the number with 2 to go. All right, it looks like our video is live on our USBC Facebook page, facebook.com/USBC, if you want to see the final shot of Kira Ray's 300 game. It's pretty exciting.
Yep. I'm gonna go and roam the floor because I want to see what happens this last game. This is gonna be exciting coming up. Thanks for having me in the booth,
Tim.
and well, I'm sure we'll get together tomorrow, and it'll be fun. And I don't know who you got coming in for the step ladder, but we'll see how it goes. I'd love to be here. I'll be here for you for sure.
Sounds good.
Thanks for everybody watching,
Tim,
guys.
Matt.
We'll talk to you soon.
Tim's going to go help the players out with this last game as it gets down to the nitty-gritty, and only a game to go here in the round of 24 at the World Cup. very, very close on the men's and the women's side to make the top 8. And that is how many players advance. So 8 players will move on after today. Once again, Facebook.com/USBC. You can find the video of the final shot of Kira Ray's 300 game, if you'd like to see that. Men are still finishing up. Game number 7. The women have slowed down a little bit, and we'll probably all finish about the same time. Sweden and Norway coming on 27 and 28 for the final game for the women. And we'll wait to see who we will have on our featured pair for the men as they wrap things up here. Sasaki for Japan is just to the right here of our featured pairs. He can go 246 this game, and he was right near the number. Janssen from Sweden can shoot 279 this game, and he's going into the 10th frame. He was in 9th place, so this is going to be a very tight finish here on the men's side as well, as things are getting very interesting to close out the round of 24. Finishing up this game, Bermuda and Slovakia. Looks like Japan finished at 246 on the men's side, Sasaki, and Sweden with a single pin leave first shot in the 10th, going to be in the 250s max. 189 for Slovakia. Maycock for Bermuda can strike out for 212 this game. All right, updated standings for the women with a game to go. We have a new leader. Maria Bulanova of Russia is in the lead by just 7 pins. Sandra Gongora now second. Clara Guerrero is third. Shannon Pluhowski fourth. And a big drop from fourth to fifth. Isabel Holton, who's up right now on lane 28. Sixth place, City Sofia. Seventh place, Sana Pasanen. Eighth is Geraldine Ung. And ninth is Kiera Ray of England after shooting 300, is now 16 pins out of the cut heading into the last game. Masaki Mukatani of Japan is 54 pins outside of the cut heading into the final game. So it will be a very interesting finish with Finland, Singapore, and England really battling for the last two spots, with Japan having an outside chance to get in as well. But right now it is Russia, Mexico, Colombia, and the United States, first through fourth. Fifth through eighth is Sweden, Malaysia, Finland, and Singapore. As the women only have about 8 frames to go here in the round of 24 before our cut is made. Try to keep an eye on some of the scores on the women's side. Geraldine Ung of Singapore down on lane 5. And Kiera Ray of England is on 19 and 20. We're going to have England and Norway on our men's pair for the final game. This is our final game of the day here at the World Cup. Tomorrow back on at the same time, 9 a.m. local time here in Las Vegas for the round of 8 match play. 7 games of round robin match play tomorrow morning for the top 8, and then we will cut to the top 3 for the semifinal and final tomorrow afternoon. Waiting on the men's results to come in after 31 games. Singapore and England on the women's side are both neck and neck. Strike, spare, double for both players this game, with Singapore having a 16-pin advantage in the standings for the last spot in match play tomorrow. It is a 16-pin advantage for Singapore heading into the final game. I'll keep you updated as best I can as we finish up here. If you want to see the video of Kira Ray's 300 game, go to our USBC Facebook page, facebook.com/USBC. Posted the final shot, got there just in time to get the video, and it was a great one too. Great reaction out of Kira as she gets the perfecto in the second to last game and chased to make the cut. She just left a single pin and made it in the fifth frame, did Kira. Geraldine Ung just struck in the fifth. So she actually has extended her lead on ninth place here halfway through the final game. Should have updated men's standings any moment now. You know, Francois Lowe leading big. Wu Su Hong second. Paul Stott third. Parshukov is fourth. Go of Singapore fifth. Alali Sang sixth. Sasaki seventh. And Marcus Jensen of Sweden has now moved into the top 8. Ildemaro Ruiz is 10 back. Rafiq Ismail 24 pins back. B-Boy Rivera 46 pins off the number. And Cameron Doyle 96 pins back with 1 game to go. So very close on the men's side heading into the final game. It'll be very interesting to see who makes it into the top 8. This is game 32 of qualifying here at the World Cup. We cut to the top 24 yesterday. We'll cut to the top 8 today. Geraldine Ung continuing to strike down on lane 5. She does not want to be denied her spot in match play. So it looks like she will probably hold on at the rate she's going. So the question becomes, is there somebody above her in the standings that might drop down? As Finland would be the next one who is close. Let's see if we can find out where she's at and take a look at her in the standings here, the live scoring. She's right next door to me here on 25 and 26. Has a couple of doubles in an open this game. So she's not doing terribly. Rose with a strike. Passanen just struck again for Finland on the women's side for 3 in a row. Geraldine's got 5 strikes in a row working currently. And Kira Ray's 9-spare, 9-spare, 9-spare the last 3 frames. So not looking good for Kira to make the miracle comeback into the top 8 at this stage. Here's some screaming. I think it's coming from the Japanese player who's got the front 4, and every time he strikes, he seems to let out a yell. I don't know if you can hear that on the live streaming or not. Geraldine just left a split in the 8th. That may open the door, but she had such a long string of strikes. Well, Japan on the women's side, she's not making a run. She's actually gotten no strikes through 6 frames this game, so I think that she's out of the running. So really it's going to come down to Finland, Singapore, and England for 2 spots on the women's side. Geraldine made the split in the 8th. Don't know what it was, but it looks very solid for her to hold on. Kira Ray just left a split in the 8th. So my gut tells me that Finland and Singapore are both going to stay in the number, and there won't be any change to the players who are in the top 8 currently on the women's side after this final game. That's what it looks like to me at this point. I mean, it's still possible, I guess, that Kira could find a way to get in if she made the split. And it looks like she may have gotten it. It looks like she made it. So she can still shoot. Well, the split was in the 9th. I thought it was in the 8th, but it was in the 9th. So she's looking at a max now of 217 this game. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Finland just opened 159 in the 8th. And she had a 32-pin cushion. So Passanen of Finland would need just to stay clean in the last 2 frames, and that would be enough to get in, assuming that Kira strikes out. But Geraldine from Singapore is going to be in. And we'll start to focus on the men's side here in just a moment as the women's finalizes. The women about a half a game ahead of the men. Looks like Kira just left a single pin second shot in the 10th, and that should just about lock it out for her. She's not going to make it. She really needed a strike there to have any chance. And I think that Passanen of Finland is going to hold on and still advance. But it will end up being relatively close. Geraldine really stepped up for Singapore in this last game. 247 if she strikes on her fill ball. Just an outstanding performance for Geraldine in this last game to hold on to that spot and advance into the round of 8 for tomorrow. All of that is unofficial, of course, and we'll wait to see the final results when they come out. On the men's side, it's so close. We've got Indonesia, Japan, Sweden, Venezuela, Malaysia, and Philippines. We've got 6 players battling for 3 spots, basically, but also Singapore and Russia and Ireland not that far in the number. Things could still be a little bit dicey for them as well. So there's so much going on the men's side. You've got basically 100 pins separating 3rd from 11th. So it's just insanely close on the men's side going into this last game. Japan bowling pretty well on the men's side. 134 in the 6th and a strike in the 7th. Ildemar Ruiz is in big trouble. 63 in the 5th. 63 in the 5th for Ildemaro, and he was in 9th place, so he is in big trouble, in jeopardy of being knocked out here. Sweden with a double, 48 in the 3rd, double 4th in the 5th. Ismail making the big move right now. Double spare 4-bagger for Rafiq Ismail, as he is in 10th place and was just 24 pins outside of the cut. He is making his move right now. He has bowled absolutely spectacular today. Singapore, we've got go at double spare strike. It's a very tense finish on the men's side. Ismail just struck again. B-Boy Rivera with his 3rd consecutive strike. He is in 11th place. He's quite a ways back, though, sitting in 11th, 46 pins off the number, and can only shoot 238. So I don't think it looks too promising for B-Boy to make it at this point, given that the players above him, like Ismail, are striking. Japan with a spare can max at 234. Ireland and Russia seem to be pretty safe at this point in the cut. Sweden with a spare in the 6th. Definitely not safe. In fact, on the verge of being passed by Rafiq Ismail for the last spot. Very close finish here on the men's side, about as close as you can get after 31 games going into game 32 before the cut to the top 8 is made. And we will have live coverage for you tomorrow over the round of 8 here on Bowl TV, starting at 9 a.m. local time here in Las Vegas. I will stay on the air here with you for a little bit longer as our bowling is done on our featured pairs, but we still haven't figured out who has advanced into the cut yet. All right, women's side, the scores are final. It looks like we were correct in what we said. Kira finishes about 21 pins outside of the number. So our top 8 is set on the women's side, and we'll run through them for you here as soon as we can. So please stand by as we wrap things up here. Ismail down on lane 42, just left a 7 count. All right, here's your top 8 for the women. Clara Guerrero first, Sandra Gregor second, third Shannon Plahowski, fourth Maria Bolanova, fifth is Isabel Holton, sixth Geraldine Ung, seventh is Siti Safaya, and eighth is qualifying in the final position is Sanna Passanen of Finland. And that is official now. That is your top 8 for tomorrow. That is final. Men's side not quite final yet. We are still finishing up here. Japan just tossed a split. Sweden just tossed a split. And B-Boy Rivera trying to come in at the last second and steal a spot with another strike off to the right side of our featured pairs. He has got 5 strikes in a row now, can still get to 238, and perhaps still get in. It is still possible for B-Boy to get in, very possible. Sweden with an open in the 7th on the verge of falling out of the top 8. B-Boy needs 2 bowlers to fall out of the top 8 at this point, however, because of the big game that Ismail is throwing. He needs to beat Sasaki by 51 to get in, does B-Boy, but B-Boy does not strike, and I think that that's going to keep him out. Japan with an open in the 9th, sitting on 180. B-Boy really had to have a strike there and a lot of help to make it in from Japan, I believe. Looking up the standings, Indonesia, Ryan Lalisang not really hurting himself too much here, can shoot 211. He's going at a 2-0 pace right now. That should be good enough for him, I believe. Ildemaro Ruiz, he will not advance. The Venezuelan will not advance. As we close things out here, I think that B-Boy is going to finish about 2 marks short of making it in. Sweden with another split on lane 40. And I believe that Rafiq Ismail is going to make it 255. He is going to jump ahead of Sweden, and it looks like Marcus Jensen, who has bowled well today, is going to fall out in this final game. Everything unofficial. Of course, we've got a lot of moving pieces here, a lot of people who are in the mix. And everything is very unofficial at this point, and we'll have to wait for the final standings to come in to know who is in for sure. Another open for Sweden, 130 in the 8th. He almost certainly is going to fall out now. 171 for Venezuela. Japan finishing at, looks like 200 with a strike on the last shot. Indonesia at 200. So my estimation is that Rafiq Ismail has made it in and Marcus Jensen of Sweden has dropped out. All completely unofficial, however, and we will have to wait for the final standings to come in to let you know for sure. Do appreciate you hanging in there with us as we finalize things here. It's our last game of the day, wrapping up. No bowling on our featured pairs, but we'll wait for the final standings on the men's side, and we'll run through the women for you again as we wait. Clara Guerrero, your top qualifier heading into match play. From Colombia, Sandra Gagor of Mexico, finishing second today. Shannon Plahowski of the United States in third place. Fourth place is Maria Bulanova of Russia. Fifth place, Isabel Hulton of Sweden. Sixth place, Geraldine Ung of Singapore. Seventh place, Siti Safaya of Malaysia. And eighth place, Sanna Passanen of Finland. It was a great run by Kira Ray of England, but she comes up 21 pins short of the number, despite having the big finish and shooting a 300 game in Game 7 today. And you can find the video of that 300 on our USBC Facebook page at facebook.com/USBC. Final shots are being thrown here on our men's side, and I believe that they're going to gather all of the top 8 for a photo. As I see here, Onoda and Judy down here in the bottom right corner of your screen getting ready. As once the scores go final, they will bring the players in for the top 8 photo. As there's still just a few shots to be thrown. And we will hang on with you until we know the final results here. So please stand by for that. Just waiting for the final shots to be thrown for the men. Should be getting close now. And we should have the scores pretty quickly once the final shots are thrown. See Singaporean down there throwing his final shot of the game. Should just about wrap things up. And yes, it does. So stand by. Should have standings for you in the next minute or two. Again, just waiting on the final men's standings here. Thanks for all the kind words in the chat. Certainly appreciate kind words. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, at Lucas_Wiseman on Twitter. As we wrap things up for today. And we'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here in Las Vegas for the round of 8. Okay, we've got standings on the men's side. Waiting for it to rotate through now here in-house, and we'll be giving them to you here in just a second. Our final official standings for the men coming up right now. Francois Loh of South Africa, first. Second place, Wu Su Hong of Hong Kong. Third, Paul Stott Jr., Ireland. Fourth, Alexei Parshikov of Russia. Fifth, Rafiq Ismail of Malaysia. Sixth, Jairus Go of Singapore. Seventh, Ryan Lalisang of Indonesia. And eighth, Tomoyuki Sasaki of Japan. So that's your top 8. Sweden finishes 9th and outside of the number here in this final round. Do appreciate you joining us. You can find the final results on QubicaAMF.com, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you go to YouTube.com/BowlTV and look at the upcoming live events, it'll show you the time in your time zone, what time we start tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. We will see you back here tomorrow for our continuing live coverage of the QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup. I'm Lucas Wiseman. Have a good day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning.